Hey everyone, James Labrie from Dream Theater, and you're listening to or watching the podcast Talking into Infinity with JT and Brian. Enjoy this. These guys are extremely informative. I love their dialogue. I love their interpretation of the songs, who and what we are, what we were going after. They're very accurate in their interpretations and descriptions, and I just think this is a great show, and these guys are doing a stand-up stellar job. So once again, enjoy Talking into Infinity with JT and Brian.
What's up, everybody? Happy holidays and welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Nerf Herder Council, talking into infinity. Good Lord, I'm already getting it wrong. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Talking into Infinity, a Dream Theater centric podcast. I am your host, John. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, talkingintoinfinity.com, the CMSnetwork.com, and the CMS Network Rumble page. We are at those locations every other Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so don't miss the show. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to click the like button, click the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. Without further ado, let me bring on my esteemed Oh, wait a minute. Brian's not here. Brian is going to be late tonight. So right now, I am flying solo. But we do have a number of guest hosts lined up. Our first one will be coming on in just a few minutes here. But yeah, Brian had some last second family Christmas drama of somewhat an emergent nature. So he's actually going to be running a little bit late, probably like 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. But we got plenty of stuff for you guys here tonight. Obviously, as you all know, I will be drinking Gorilla Farts. I'll wait a little bit to do that, but I've got it ready to go, and God, those things are atrocious. So, anyhow, like I said, we've got some awesome co-hosts coming up. We have our good friends Kale McLeish and Chastity coming on. We have Sean Faust, who will be joining us. And coming on first here in a few minutes, we have Hennig Mielke. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I'll ask that when he jumps on here. But yeah, he actually worked for Dream Theater's label over in Germany, and I want to say the late 90s. So he's going to talk a little bit about what it was like to actually work with the guys. He worked with Jeff Tate and Queensryche at that time as well. So he's going to have some cool stories about that. And major props to him for agreeing to come on. He is, in Germany, he's 6 hours ahead of us. So right now it's 1:30 in the morning over there, and he's just now getting on the computer to, man, Robert Husted, good to see you. He is also going to be one of our esteemed co-hosts tonight. He says, remember the drinking game. Anytime you hear John mention score for any reason, take a drink. No. It's not if I mention score. It's if I mention that I was there, or if it's like a personal memory from score. So because I could say score, like, oh, what was the best song on score was, another one or something like that. That's different. So anytime that's not fair saying anytime I mention score, Robert. Come on now. Seriously. And besides, if you're doing the drinking game, you better have something there to drink, because if you're going to do this to me, then I'm going to mention how I was at score many times while you're on camera. So Robert says, you have a point. Yeah, you better watch it there, dude. Doug McCauley, good to see you, says, I just took 2 drinks anyway. Yeah, oh God. Anything that anybody's going to be drinking tonight is not going to be nearly as bad as what I have. I've got some normal stuff like iced tea. I've got a craft beer here, and I've got a little bit of whiskey, but these Gorilla Farts are just brutal. So, yeah. So anyway, Brian is going to be joining us a little bit later in the show. Again, we'll have Hennig here in a few minutes once he logs on. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for Nikki Bilski. Wow, hey, what's up? Good to see you. She says, hey, JT. Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for another awesome year. It's pretty crazy that we've been doing this now. I believe, what is it, like 3 years or something? Man, and the hell of a year. And we did the Portnoy Returns episode, which just absolutely for us blew up, which was a good thing. And we had Mike Mangini on the show this year, Jordan Rudis. We had some great stuff. And as always, you guys in the chat were a blast to hang out with. Which is the whole point of this show here tonight. It's just to hang out with you guys and have a free form discussion and, talk Dream Theater. And if it veers off into other directions, it veers off into other directions. So no big deal. So yeah, Brian, he actually texted me only a couple hours ago, and I said, wow, nothing like last minute notice there, dude. So, yeah, he'll be on hopefully, 8:30ish, something like that. So we were also going to have Everett Painter from Dream Theater USA, the Dream Theater fan club, but he had a last minute travel conflict, so he will not be joining us. But again, we do have Robert Husted. He'll be on with us. Hennig is coming on here in a few minutes, and then we've got Kale and Chastity and Sean. So definitely going to be a very good time. Speaking of Hennig, his ears must be burning. Here he is, the man himself.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Are you tired?
Not yet. Give me another 2 hours.
Nice. Oh my God. Well, thank you very much for coming on, man. I know it's like I said, I as I was saying, everybody, it's 1:30 in the morning. Like, I mean,
Yes,
it's
it
late
is.
over there. So what
It's
part of
very
Germany?
late. It's near Frankfurt.
Okay.
So it's kind of in the middle of Heidelberg. It's in the middle of Germany, and it's pretty much in the center. So
very cool. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
How you guys been?
Everything's good, man. Like I said, Brian is running late. He texted me
Brian is running late. Okay.
Yeah, he texted me a couple hours ago, and he said that he's got some crazy family drama going on. That he had to on the fly do a family Christmas at his house. So he's jumping out about a half hour, an hour or so. So yeah.
Okay.
So
you're in the middle of Christmas season.
Yep. Yeah.
Preparing.
The next couple days are going to be crazy. I'm singing tomorrow night. We have ugly Christmas sweater show, and then the next morning I'm driving a couple hours out to my in-laws' place to watch football and do our Christmas on Christmas Eve. And then my stepkids and their significant others will be coming over Christmas Eve night and spending the night into Christmas. So be pretty cool. So
wow, that's busy schedule.
Yeah, and I get to cook a lot, which is, everyone's like, oh, are you grilling? I'm like, yeah, I'll grill. So,
You're grilling?
Oh, yeah.
Inside
no, outside. No, I don't
outside?
We're lucky because it's in the mid 40s right now. And I'm also one of those people that I don't give a crap if it's like snowing outside. Like if I want to grill, I want to grill. It's like, I will not let the weather dictate what I want to eat.
So the mid 40s would be in Celsius. What's that? Like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm terrible at.
I have to. Let me check.
I'm looking at what Celsius
is
45
Is it
degrees.
freezing yet?
It's above freezing. Okay, so wait a minute.
Let me check.
What's 45 degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius?
Oh, it's like 5 degrees Celsius. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
That's like here.
There you go.
You have snow already?
We had one snowfall earlier in the week, and that was it. So we're not gonna have a green Christmas, it looks like. So, but makes it better for the grilling. So there you go. Look, all right, they're already getting on me here. Sean, one of our other co-hosts, he says, "Did John mention being at Score yet?" No, I did not. And Robert Husted already brought that up, and I warned him, you better watch that, because if he's going to be playing this drinking game, he's going to be on camera, and I'm going to mention it as many times as possible. Watch him get sauced in front of everybody. So there we go. All right,
I'm good with water. I'm not drinking anything because I'm going to be so fucked.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it together myself, man. I got a couple hours to go here. So all right, so let's jump into this, man. So how did you come to work? You work for Dream Theater's label over there, correct?
Exactly. In Germany. Yeah. In the last it was like I started working at Warner Music in Hamburg. I'm originally from Hamburg, which is in the north.
Okay.
And it was like I started in 95 as a junior product manager. So basically what you do at a label is you're working all the repertoire you get landing on your desk and try to market it in your market, which is Germany.
Okay.
So it could be anything. It's all the genres, all the countries, US, UK, Italy. So that was like when I started off, I was a junior Prague match, and when I started working with Dream Theater, I think it was like falling into infinity in that metropolis. So that would be like I would be just normal Prague manager at that
Sure.
time. Yeah. And I did all the Electra rock repertoire. So
Okay.
so that's obviously Dream Theater was part of that. Yeah.
So what sort of responsibilities did you have like with the band? Did you get to work directly with them at all? I mean, I know Mike Portnoy was obviously really hands-on with everything, back then. So
Yeah, I mean, you what you would do is you would obviously communicate with the American repertoire owner. So you set up promotion trips, you set up interviews, um, and then you take what they give you in terms of artwork, bio, EPK, which is electronic press kits at that in
Mhm.
that era. It doesn't exist anymore. So you would get all the tools you would need to market the record in Germany. And then you could request the band to come over to do promotion tours, which would then be in line with European promotion trips, to do interviews with press. And you could do phone interviews, and obviously when the band is in your market, you're responsible for getting them everywhere, to be with them hands on. And yeah, sometimes you would speak with the band up front, and sometimes you just drive them around the country. Everybody wants to go on the autobahn. Obviously, that was always the first thing.
Yep.
And and then you know let me get me in the car and drive
Right.
drive as fast as you can. And so that would happen. Usually people would come in on a Sunday evening from the US, jet lagged, and then you get them the per diems, which is like a daily kind of, yeah, cash, basically, what they can spend on anything. And then, yeah, and when they are touring, you be there on the first gig and you try to be with them as much as you can. Yeah, that's the main focus. So, and then you would do the advertisement, your TV advertisement, all the stuff. You speak to the MTVs, to all the channels, to push the record as much as you can, you know.
So how was it pushing at that time, falling into infinity, as much as I've said on the show, it's my favorite record of theirs, but you know that was a record for them that was not received very well compared to the obviously the previous two. So how was it received over there in Germany? Because over here people are like, oh, this is a little more straightforward. It's not kind of what they
Yeah,
were looking
same.
for.
Same. I mean, you have to know. I was a huge Dream Theater fan.
Hmm.
I was buying the record. I think I came across Majesty, and then the first demo that was really hyped in Germany, and then obviously when Dreams and Day Unite, I bought that on vinyl. Um, and I liked it. I mean, you can feel that they are not really gelling in terms of the sound and the production, all that.
Hmm.
Um, and then Images and Words came out, and that was huge, like in the States. And I saw the band. I looked it up. Let me see. I saw them in a club in Hamburg with 1,000 people, and it was just electrifying. You can tell. It was. I think it was '93, April '93, and it was just buzzing. I mean, you can tell the band was you know going big. I think they weren't that big at that time, but you can feel it. You can feel
Yeah.
it in the air. And Portney was like with his camera. He was behind the drums and filming everybody. So I was a huge fan of the band. And then Awake came, and I think that everybody liked that record. I think that was a solid follow-up. And then,
Yeah.
Falling into Infinity, I think it was considered, in Germany, was considered a little bit of a letdown. And Germany is a huge market for that band, still is.
Yeah.
Distance Over Time was number one in Germany, and I think all the records charted at least top 15 or top 20, and some even top 5, top 3. So it's a huge market for the band, and you can feel that that album was tough for the band. You can feel it.
Yeah. I always wonder how because I mean, the European market is obviously much better and bigger for metal. So I wonder what if their tolerance is higher for stuff like that, whereas the American audiences can be kind of fickle. So
I think the loyalty is I think Germans tend to be very loyal to a band. I
Mhm.
think if US bands come over here, I think we tend to stick with them as long as we possibly can.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons Van Halen. I think obviously they were huge in Germany, and it was a huge band for me as well, as a teenager. But they didn't tour Europe or Germany as much as they did in the States, for whatever reason that is. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think it's just that's just where if you don't put in the work, in Europe, or especially in Germany, you tend to not catch up later on, and
Mhm.
it's unfortunate. But Dream Theater did that, and Falling into Infinity, obviously they toured, but Potner was pissed.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. I mean, I remember I was going backstage, and he was just in a foul mood, and I think that had to do with um all the tension with Sylvia Rome from Elektra, who
Yeah.
is um who is not a metal friendly
Mm-mm.
executive, you know. And she was all about Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes and R&B and hip hop, and I think she had no clue what to do with the band, and you can tell, and I think he wasn't in a good place at that time, mentally, with his drinking and all that. And he was just aggressive, he was just really aggressive. And um, when you are the labor representative, you are considered, sometimes you're considered the extension of
Of
the
the
person
label.
you have, and
Mhm.
me being a huge fan and meeting the band for the first time, obviously that was a little bit um disheartening. The rest was fine. I mean, I that's all very um that was all very professional and very calm, but he was pissed. Yeah.
Do you know how close that was to when he actually told them he was leaving after the tour? Because I know that I want to say it was basically when they recorded that live record. It was that he had kind of told them that he was stepping down. Was that right around the corner from when you worked with them, or was that later, or where was that situation at? If
No, I
you
think it was right in the middle of it, and you can
Okay.
feel it. I think they kept to themselves. He was just um in a foul mood, and I think he was backstage, and he was like keeping to himself. And I was more interacting with Petrucci then and Labrie,
Mhm.
because funny side note, I was playing in a band at that time and trying to sing, you know, as you do, and then we auditioned a guitar player from the States who just came over from Canada, and his name was Bruce Dice, and Bruce Dice was member of Winter Rose,
Oh, okay.
who
Yeah.
who's James LeBrie's old band. So I found out, and he said, yeah, I work with James. He's now with Dream Theater, and he's a kick-ass singer. He could sing TNT, Everyone's a Star, which was like a big song in Germany, in Europe, that record TNT, Tell No Tales.
Yeah.
And so I went backstage, and that's the first thing I said to Libri. I said, hey, Bruce Dice says hi. And he was like, oh man, really? Oh, that's cool. And I think Bruce Dice wanted to do something with Lenny Wolf from Kingdom Come, who's from
Sure.
Hamburg. So that was funny. And he was like, yeah, man, that Winter Rose, and we were just talking, and he's like, and I asked him, what are your heroes? And I said, man, the only singer I'm really intimidated by is Steve Perry from Journey.
Oh yeah.
That was like his, I said, I can hang with everybody, but he's something different. So that was really cute.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Well, look who decided to show up to his own show.
Dude, I just heard something about TNT. What did I miss? One of my favorite bands of all time, Tell No Tales.
Absolutely.
I love that album.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, they were great. I mean, I just said that the Tell No Tales record was a huge record in Europe, in Germany, and that was like a high standard of high energy hard rock. And I have to be honest with you, that's one of the first hot takes from Germany here. You can cruise it. I think Tony Harnell should have sung in Dream Theater. He would have been my first choice. Do you know him, John?
I'm familiar with Tony Harnell. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I think he would have. I think he would have been amazing in that band. I'm not the biggest James LeBrie fan, to be honest. For different reasons, but I think he's great at what he does now and what he's been. But Tony Harnell would have been excellent in my. But maybe that's a European view.
They're gonna be on the Monsters of Rock cruise. This will be the first time I ever got to see TNT.
Yeah, they're back together. Yeah.
I think it's the whole original lineup, so I'm pretty pumped for that.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I've seen footage. I mean, he sounds amazing. I mean, he looks great. He sounds amazing. So yeah.
So when back to being back there with the guys, and how difficult was it to kind of work with the band, knowing where they're. I mean, were you aware that they were going through a potential breakup at the time, or did they keep that? Okay, so they made that clear to you guys.
Well, they made it clear, and I think Silver Brown made it clear.
So did you work with her directly ever?
Yeah, I did. And what would happen is they would come over like every half year or quarter year, and just kind of with the international department, and we would all sit around, and they would play us new music and new stuff, and something that they think is a priority for the label. And then obviously I knew from the press that Dream Theater are going to release a new record, so but that wasn't mentioned at all. And then I kind of asked her, I think it was lunch or something, and she said, what about Dream Theater? And she's like, Dream Theater. And it's like, okay. I got it.
I know.
Let's talk about Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes, shall we?
Right. Yeah, I know that Nikki Sixx, when he wroed about her in the dirt, kind of extensively, he just they flamed her publicly and had that big pissing match.
It's the same. It's the same thing, And I wished, I worked with Jason Flom at that time, who signed Rat, Twisted Sister, Porcupine Tree, who was at Atlantic with his own label called Lava. And he signed Sabotage. Super nice guy, totally gets rock, totally gets progressive rock, and he would have been perfect for Dream Theater, and and as for Motley as well. And and it's just unfortunate, the changing at the guards, and something, careers get short shrifted, ended, records are not getting released. It's just unfortunate, but me being a foot soldier in one of the major markets for the band, and then obviously feeling the heat from the band, and especially from Portnoy, understandably, I totally get it, but it's just something that I felt he could have been a little bit more measured, a little bit more measured. But then that's youth, probably, and he was just, I think they were just in an unhappy situation at that time. Yeah.
So at the time you were there, this is kind of like a funny question, I suppose, but I don't know if you heard the story that he told, where when he was first over in Germany, he thought that Ausfahrt was a city, and so he said, "God damn, this Ausfahrt place is huge." And then it was only down the road he found out it meant like exit, or like off ramp, or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's exit.
Yeah, I laughed because I took 9 years of German in high
Did you?
school. So I used to be partly fluent. That was years ago,
Wow.
obviously, but yeah. So
Okay.
when he told that story, he said I was dying. I was like, oh my god, I wish to be there. If you know what it means, I'd be like, oh my god, this guy really
Ausfahrt.
thinks out. Yeah, Ausfahrt is like a huge city, but no, it's an off ramp, man. Like, so
John's the only person ever to take 9 years of a foreign language in high school.
Oh, dude. Well, okay. So I started in like 5th grade. I took like Saturday classes. My older brother spoke it, and I wanted to
But
speak.
why German? Why German?
Because like my older brother is basically like my hero, and he did it, so I wanted to do it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it was kind of funny because we all got assigned. We got to pick German names, so I picked Rüdiger, and then yeah,
that's
and
good.
so my brother
sexy German name, Rüdiger.
That's what I thought. I was like, no one's gonna pick this name. So, and it was funny because like my brother was in German, and so were my cousins, and they all picked it too. So it was Rüdiger 1, 2, 3 und 4. So it was so funny. Like,
so I took it for 4 years in high school, and this is no joke. So you probably use this joke too. You'd show the teacher Motley Crue, and you're like, "Is this pronounced Mertley Crue because of the umlaut?"
Yeah, the umlauts,
that was like the joke,
True.
We tell that joke like every single year, once to the teacher, just for the hell of it.
No, it's just, German is tough. It's just a tough language, Even for us Germans, it's tough.
It's rolling the R's that is the bitch. Like that. It's so hard for people to get, like the
It's and then and for Germans to speak English, I know it's always this. We can't do the th, the. So it's always the. So every German character, which mainly is Nazis or any bad. Any bad, or Udo or Klaus Meine, and it's always the so that's a tough one, but yeah.
So do you start English early there then, like in elementary school? It's like mandatory, or
it's mandatory. You can choose. It's 4th grade you start basically. Okay. And then it goes up to college level, and then I was an exchange student in Indiana for a year, 87 to 88, and then I studied in Georgia. So that's what helped me picking up the language, and then we lived in London for 3 years when I was working for Warner Music, so that helped as well.
Speaking of pronunciation, I've always wondered this, and now that I have an actual German to ask this question of,
sure.
I like the Scorpions, but I've never known how to pronounce Matthias's last name. Is it Yaps? Hops? Like, how do you pronounce this?
No, it's Yaps.
Yaps.
Yeah,
okay.
It's Yaps. Exactly.
I've always, for some reason, after years of taking, I was like, how do you pronounce this damn thing?
Matthias Yaps. Yeah. I work with them as well.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah. We did an unplugged record in Lisbon, and Matthias thought he should wear a wig with a hat on, and we couldn't get it. It looked so awful, and we were like, Matthias, you shouldn't do that. You should. It's not a good look on you. And he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It looks so silly.
Oh, that's
Hey,
awesome.
but they're still going strong. You know, they're
What is it
still
like?
going strong.
Isn't it like 60 years? Is that coming
Yeah,
up?
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
a singer who still sounds good, holy crap!
Yeah, we always call him Maus Kleine, Maus. So and we kind of change because he's really small,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, hey, hey, oh, it's just a character.
He always cracks me because even in his singing, he can't hide the German accent. Like
No,
all these other like
yeah. It's just, but they're a German treasure. I mean, what can you say? I mean, they're the biggest German hard rock band, whether you like them or not, but they're just going strong, and kudos to them, for surviving the 90s and keeping together for all that time,
yeah, and they survived some bad albums too. They had oh my god.
Oh
like,
yeah.
was
We had that German song that's supposed to sound like Rammstein. I mean,
oh yeah.
when we were in that board meeting and everybody was just looking at each other, and there was this cheesy video, and we were just like, and the manager was like looking at us, and I was like, no, I have to go to the toilet now. Can I just leave the room for a minute?
Oh
And
god.
yeah, that was bad.
So
bad.
our buddy Sean Faust is jumping on. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
How's it going, fellas?
Hi,
So
Sean.
How are you?
Hennig,
I'm
like
good. How are you?
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what it's like when you are listening to a new record by a band that you're working with and it's terrible. What is that like? I mean, it's terrible to ask what's that like question, but I mean, try to describe having to sit there and just polish this turd in front of the band.
Ooh, good question. Wow. I had that Mr. Big record after To Be With You, and they did this cover of Wild Word because they didn't have an unplugged. And I was going to lunch with a band, and I was a huge Mr. Big fan as well. So that was another one. And I mean, what can you do? You try your best. I mean, it's you can't be honest. That's a problem. I would love to be honest in that, especially when you know the repertoire and the band that well as a fan. You just try to make the best of it. Or Queensryche, Q2K, one of my favorite bands, Operation Mindcrime and Rage for Order are two seminal records in my life,
Right.
honestly, in my life. And then I went to dinner with the band, and Degarmo was out, which was huge in the
Yeah.
dynamics. And then Tate was obviously leading the proceedings, and it's just tough because I love that band so much, and then they deliver a record which I cannot, it's just not working for me, and you just try to, I think, polish the turd as good as you can and try your best and just kind of avoid the conversation, and well, sometimes they ask you, what do you think of the record, and I say, yeah, I like it. I try my best. I mean, the thing is, you don't want to, you have to do your best, despite your taste. I think that's something you learn at a record company. I mean, I work with so many great bands. I love like King's X, which is one of my all-time favorite bands. And they did nothing, and it breaks your heart. And then you have other stuff, like Matchbox 20, who are great people. Rob Thomas is one of the nicest people I've ever met in the music business, but it's just music I doesn't work for me. So it's just professional. You have to be professional about it, and sometimes it's lightning in a bottle, and you love a band and you love the record and it's successful. um that's just part of the business.
Are you able to say what the biggest disappointment for you was in those situations? Like, are you able to mention an album, or would that be going one too far to say, oh, this one record I heard, this was definitely the worst, that I ever had to kind of like, oh yeah, you know.
Oh, there were a few. I didn't get the Hootie and the Blowfish record. I hated that.
Okay.
The big one, the big seller.
Yep.
Sugar Ray, the first one.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, those were two I just couldn't stomach. I think those two stand out for me.
So what's one that
Yeah.
you were like, you thought for sure this is going to be a home run, and maybe you covered this, but it just didn't take off sales wise? I mean, obviously we know we love King's X and all that, but what's another one you could think of maybe?
Good question. I know I know he had a college hit. Duncan Sheik.
Yep.
Yeah, he had that song "Barely Breathing,"
Yep.
which I think was a huge single in the US.
Yep.
And the producer came over, Rupert Hine, who I love, and the label owner came over, and Duncan Sheik came over, and he's great, and we all felt really strong about that record, because it kind of felt the first record was really like moody singer-songwriter. It was like European, but didn't do anything, so that was disappointing. And then Jewel, the first Jewel record, was tough for us. Yeah, those two probably.
What's it? Conversely, before we do this, I'm gonna get this out of the way before I get sick over here. Cheers, everybody. Here goes Gorilla Fart number 1. Oh boy, here we go.
German vodka.
Nice. All right, let's hope this stays down.
What's in that?
Oh, bad
What's
decisions
part of
and
that?
regret.
What's part of that beverage? What was it again?
This time it's Jägermeister, Bacardi, and Jack Fire.
Oof, Jesus. Yeah, drink a beer after that.
Oh, God. Ugh, yeah. Ugh. Anyhow, okay. So conversely, man, Joe Skox Atlantis is tuning in. Says, hi guys, nice to see you again. Greetings from Spain. Good to see you, man. Thanks for checking out the show. So conversely, Hattie, what was a record that you got to listen to where you were like, oh my God, this is like amazing? Like, do you have one that stands out as like the best one you ever got to deal with?
One thing obviously is Metropolis by Dream Theater. Obviously, that was a huge record. And then King's X, Dogman was a huge record, because it sounded different. I think those two were real highlights for me, because of it's just really, those are really, really strong records. Yeah, I mean, those two I think were two that stand out. And with AC/DC, you always know, because if you get an AC/DC record,
You know exactly
you know
what you're
what
getting. Yeah.
you know what it's doing. And we got the record with Thunderstruck, which was huge in Europe, and so you know what you're getting. Yeah.
Did you ever get any of the Metallica stuff?
No,
Okay.
we didn't. I think that was Polygram in Germany.
Okay.
So that was Universal Records. But that was huge. I mean, that's like, Metallica was a bit. My good friend of mine got me into Metallica, but I was more like Pantera. Pantera was my thing.
Yeah.
That was huge. That was
There,
such a huge record.
which one so that would have been what?
It started.
Trendkill around the time.
No, it was like in the States. I mean, it was like, you would go Cowboys from Hell,
Hmm.
that was like bubbling under, and then Valkyrie Display of Power. That just changed everything, you know. I mean, in
Did you ever
Germany,
have?
like,
Did you ever work with Pantera? Did you ever work any of their
no,
stuff?
unfortunately, I didn't. No, we didn't.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that
that
would have
band
been
is just
huge for me.
ridiculous.
Yeah, this is insane. That's an insane band, and it was I think when I'm listening to you guys, I mean, there's not that much difference between what happened in Germany or Europe, but I can only speak for Germany in the States as well. I think it still had the same impact, same bands, same impact. Van Halen, like I mentioned, was huge, and obviously we didn't have the Sunset Strip and we didn't have Seattle, but it still spilled over, the whole music, and we had MTV and all that. Radio was totally different, so was in Germany was more press, was a lot. Press was huge. It's really important, or was important in Germany, like fanzines, black and white fanzines, metal
Hmm.
stuff, and then I think that was metal. Like press was our radio, basically, because you wouldn't have metal on radio or hard rock or anything. Maybe Jump. That was it. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
it.
I mean, obviously, you had mentioned earlier that Images and Words, blew up over there like it did here. So if you didn't have radio, I mean, the whole reason that just was huge over here was because of radio and whatnot. So what blew
Was
up
it
Image?
really? Was that
Yeah,
radio?
yeah, it was, Pull Me Under. They got it on radio, and then it started getting played, so they had to make a video for it. And it's, Portnoy has said many times that video sucks because it was low budget, but they had to get something on MTV because they were getting so much radio play from it. So what was it that blew up, that record over there? How did it get all
Word of
that
mouth.
hype?
It was word of mouth. It was like
Okay.
press, word of mouth. Um, yeah, it was just people were just talking about it, just really old school. You have like these magazines, and then they would like feature like Majesty demo, and then obviously the whole stuff, and then it was like Images and Words, and I don't know, it was just like everybody was talking about the record, and everybody was, when it dropped, it was I think it changed everything in terms of progressive metal, especially in Germany. You know, we had Halloween, which came later, I think, a little bit, or a little bit before that, which was like this traditional symphonic metal. Like which Europeans love, and which is like this. Yeah, it's like child songs, like nursery rhymes with fast guitars, but
Right.
they
Easy,
yeah,
easy, easy.
no, I love him. I was the biggest Halloween fan, but they haven't aged well. I was listening
No,
to that record a while ago, and I have to say, okay, well,
Keeper of the Seven Keys still holds up. The song.
that's true. That's
The
true.
song. The
That's true.
album, yeah, I'm gonna go with you.
But Mr. Stein and it's just like, okay,
Mr.
guys,
Torture.
He builds funny
Mr. Torture.
creatures.
But he was great. I mean, we were so proud of him. The Michael Kiske, when he came out, he was like 19, and he was really good, and we felt really, really strong, about that band. But so going back to your question, John, yeah, it was press, word of mouth. That's basically what it did, and then when the video came out, obviously you have MTV, but yeah, it was more word of mouth, press, a lot of people we had magazines who were selling like 150,000 um, units, and it was different magazines: Metal Hammer, Rock Hard, and then 2, 3, 4 other magazines, who were, and they were just hyping up. They do studio report, which is a big thing. They would have like people in the studio listening to the record, and they will all get excited, and you would read that and say, well, this is going to be the biggest thing since sliced bread, and then obviously you run to the stores, and then and then it just circles from there.
So, talk a little bit about, you had mentioned, that Portnoy was a little aggressive and obviously in a bad mood for the touring cycle over there for Falling Into Infinity. But, obviously we know the story that basically after that record, he did stay with the band, obviously. And they basically told the label, piss off. We're going to do our record. You'll get it when it's done. Stop putting, too many cooks in the kitchen. So talk about the difference between the band dynamic, on the Falling Into Infinity run as opposed to, the Metropolis 2000 run.
Yeah, I think he was sober by then, when they came over, and they did an outside show in Hamburg, and yeah, the dynamic was very different. I mean, you can feel that he was in total control of that band at that time, and I think he was very. I think you can tell. I mean, he was still pissed, but I think you can feel that his mind was made up, about what he wanted to do, where he wanted the band to progress to, and that he would, yeah, get his way basically. I think that I'm not sure how far they were with Elektra at that time, if they kind of decided or came to an agreement that they're gonna leave the label. Um, but yeah, self-confidence is probably what I would describe the dynamics, and he was very much in control at that point, pretty much steering the ship.
What are your thoughts on the Mangini era, musically, and how the band and the direction and everything? And are you as pumped about Portnoy being back as everyone else seems to be?
I am. I am. Um, Unfortunately, with sometimes you've when you work at a record label, and you meet your favorite band, and it's not going like you want to, you kind of get bumped out a bit, and that happened to me for a while. I listened to all the records, and I love Train of Thought and 6 Degrees of Turbulence. Um, and then the Mangini, I thought it was smart. I think it was a smart move how they set it up with a with the trial outs, with the videos and all that. I really like what's it called? Distance Over Time.
Yes.
I really
Yep.
like that record. And what I like about the record is you can tell that the mixing was done by Ben Gross, who did a Seven Dust record, which I love, which the title escapes me now. But you can tell the difference in sound. I think that's one thing, and I like the last record as well. And I'm super excited what's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting how that dynamic, what he's bringing to the table now, and if I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they are. I mean, I'm not sure if he's taking over the steering wheel now, or if they, what are your thoughts about it? Do you think he's just wiser and more matured, and he's just part of the band, or he's gonna take everything and be in control?
I,
Yeah.
Sean, I'll let you go first on this one because I do have a few thoughts. But where do you stand on that? Where do you think Portnoy's going to fit into this business wise?
It's a smart move, just business wise, to get him back at this point. Because I was at that MSG show, and on the Train of Thought tour, that room was sold out. On this tour, it was like a third full. I felt bad. I don't know. I'd kind of like to see how he would be just laid back. I want to see if his head starts exploding, just like, no, guys, let's do it this way. Guys, let's do it this way. Or if he's just gonna lay back and be like, you and Jordan have been doing this for a while. Like, let's see. The only thing I'm just hoping they don't do is throw on their leather jacket and their water skis and do Metropolis 3, because I think they already told their story. I want to hear them do something fresh and new.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to see Metropolis 3. I think it's, you just leave that alone. In terms of your question, Henning, it's going to be interesting because I don't think he's going to come in and just assume the role he had before. I think it's a very different dynamic now because the work is spread around. So I think he's going to fit into that nicely, but I don't think he's going to be 100% in control like he was. I just don't know how that would work. I mean, eventually, as you're aware, having worked with them, that started to rub the other guys in the band the wrong way. They finally got tired of being under his thumb and whatnot. And I think they him coming back, they don't want to be part of that sort of arrangement again, I think. So it'll be interesting, to see where that lands. And I do know that they're still hashing that sort of stuff out. So it's, they're still kind of working on the specifics and everything. And,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. Brian,
because
what
it's a
do you
company.
think? Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it's a company at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think, Brian?
I'd like to see him skip to Metropolis 4 and do like a Spinal Tap, a 4-part trilogy.
I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, I think I don't think there's going to be any huge need to completely try to push and market the band, because it's marketing itself knowing he's back, you know what I mean? And I think as they were maybe kind of starting to fade towards the end of Portnoy there, that was his whole thing, was just trying to, was the marketing of the band and keeping the name out there and making sure we're relevant, but hey, I also want to take a break or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he was kind of caught in the crossroads, whereas here I think it's just going to be solely, let's make the best album we can make. I'll step back. We got managers. We're all kind of equal partners now. And I think his role is really going to be diminished in terms of, driving in that way, unless he just has some insane ideas that are good and the guys will listen to. But I think he just kind of wants to be part of a band again. He just doesn't want to be a hired guy anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we do have another guest backstage. We've got our very good friend Cale McLeish. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey. Almost missed it. Sorry about that.
You got plenty of time. It's a long show. So what do you think? Where do you think Portnoy's going to fit into all this?
It's going to be interesting to see how it does fit together. Actually, I think there's definitely a different road than the one he left off on. We've kind of traveled down that road. He was there at a crossroads and helicoptered out, basically, and now it's come back together. It's not going to the same place it used to be, I don't think.
Yeah, I just don't see how, Henning, I don't see how they can go back to that old dynamic. I mean, that's what caused the split in the first place. So to immediately go right back to that, I mean, Sean was talking about the MSG show, for Train of Thought. I was there too, and it was packed, and the attendance is, that doesn't count, Sean. Quit laughing. That wasn't score.
I was
but for the record, you were at score though, right?
I'm not playing that game until Robert gets on.
But you were there, right?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Robert, if
yeah,
you'd like to take a shot, now is the time.
yeah, exactly. But
Or a
yeah,
half
Henning,
one.
I don't see how they go back to that. I really don't. And you know, they've developed a good way of doing things, and as much as we just talked about where the concert attendance might have been down a little bit, the band did survive, and they put out some great records in in
True.
Portnoy's absence. So it's not like I don't think it was like a Iron Maiden Blaze Bailey thing where the records were bad and
No.
it wasn't anything like that. So
Exactly. And they have
I
a
would
great
like to
label
see
now.
them. Sorry, you go, Henning.
So I mean, Inside Out. I know Thomas really well. He's a great guy, and I think they are in a healthy state. And I agree. I mean, it's a company. At the end of the day, I think I agree with Sean. It's business-wise, it's the smartest move both parties could have done at this point. And yeah, I agree. I think he's much more matured, mellowed. I think he seems to be in a great space, place in terms of his career and where he's at in life. And yeah, I agree. And I think what he's bringing to the table is obviously in these days and age is social media. I mean, his social media game is ridiculous,
Yeah.
So he's and I think you said it, John, as well, in terms of he's probably the only rock star in the band.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he's definitely going to bring something. I'm just going to be interested in if the songwriting, the production, if it's going to be him and Petrucci, or if they, I have no idea which kind of, if they do as fan service and do, or if they go totally bonkers and kind of throw everything. It's going to be interesting if it's going to be triple record or double record or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'd love for them to bring in a fairly big name producer, just
Yeah,
to
me
bring
too.
out the best, because otherwise it's going to
Me
be
too.
too much Petrucci or too much Portnoy.
Yeah.
Go
you
Andy
know,
Snape again. He did a great job with View from the Top of the World. I'd like to see him get another shot.
I'd go with that. Tom Cullen tuning in. Good to see you, man. He says, I'm still, quote unquote, scared at the return of Portnoy.
Eek!
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be great. It's such a bittersweet thing for me because like I liked Mangini. I liked, most of the stuff that he did. And it's just, it kind of, to me, it was always kind of sad that the fan base just didn't embrace him the way I thought they would. It was always a very interesting thing to me because I was shocked that, people are like, well, Portnoy's not there, I'm not going to go see the band. I was like, okay, like I get that he kind of is like, the heart and soul and everything, but he's the drummer. It's not like you're doing a singer change or John Petrucci. Like it's, I mean, it was surprising to me that it had that effect. So,
Yeah.
all right, so we do have our final couple of co-hosts here. They're jumping on early. We've got Robert Husted and Chastity Crawley. Good to see you guys.
Howdy.
Hello.
So,
Hello, everybody.
Tom Cullen, he's got a great point. He says it's a big personality reintroduced into something that was working. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of interesting. I mean, Chastity and Robert, like where do you guys think this is going to go? What do you think Portnoy's role is going to be in this?
Go ahead.
Oh, gotcha. I was waiting for you. So I'm not entirely sure, honestly, because Portnoy was before my time getting into Dream Theater. I mean, like honestly, it wasn't until like after I got into Dream Theater that I realized Portnoy was out of the band and Mangini replaced him. So, but I think, I don't know, just hearing like the stories that, the way Portnoy used to be, I don't know if he's going to go back to doing that, but I know he's going to be like a big, I'll say advocate for like, imagination or like kind of like the driving force. But I feel like him and Petrucci are going to like drive it.
Yeah, I think, Hennig, I think they've got that writing relationship. I mean, they, the three of them were, Jordan and John and Mike were doing the writing before he left, and then they continued it. They did the liquid tension experiment record recently, and Portnoy played obviously on John's solo record. So I think it's still there. I think the one thing that I like, if I was to make a guess as to what we're going to get, in terms of not just Portnoy's role, but I've said this before, I think we're going to get a very energetic record. I think you're going to hear that sense of, okay, like it's, our buddy's back, and there's going to be a certain aggression to it, just born of the energy of him being back and them being excited to work with him again.
There's got to be that hunger. When you listen to the Images and Words demos, like just you can hear how hungry they are in those performances. Like I kind of got a vibe and a hope that this next record will give us that same kind of like, we are hungry, we need to be back kind of thing.
Oh, definitely agreed. Definitely.
And what he's doing, what he's great at, I mean, you could see it, this Drumeo Pull Me Under video he did, I think, where he drums. So he's just great with this stuff. I mean, he's just great with the social media, how he does the interaction, explaining stuff. He's just very good with his social media game, and I think that's going to be a big aspect what he's bringing to the table.
And I have to kind of piggyback on that. I think he's done it a lot better than Mangini has to an extent. Because
absolutely.
I mean, you go back and watch any of the videos where Mangini's breaking down a part, and he's like, "Okay, so I'm doing exactly this. This is exactly what I'm doing," and it's just like, I don't know what that means. I am a musician, but I don't understand what you're doing. Whereas Portnoy's like, okay, so what I'm doing is this, which, if you count 4/4 like every musician does, change that. This is how I'm counting this.
Yeah.
And he actually breaks it down into the most base layman terms so that it's more accessible.
And I think what he's been able to do over this is that he really outed himself as a fan of music, like being the Beatles, and he's on Prog Report, kind of the wheel of prog with Opeth, and he's just getting out, wearing a jellyfish
that was
tank
cool
top, which is great. And I think he just comes across as a very likable, kind of ambassador of prog. I don't know anybody else except maybe Steven Wilson, who's not as extrovert as him, being the ambassador of prog at this point in time, who's so engaging and so likable, communicates and stuff, and that's great. I mean, I think that's something that's really gonna be a big factor.
Agreed.
In the next record, yeah.
Are we like slaves to the moment though? And John will follow me on this. Like, remember when the Alien came out? We were like, "Oh my god!" Like, this is so good. So, and here we were talking about, oh, we really hope that Portnoy brings some energy. I mean, was there any more energy on a new Dream Theater single, like just pumped than that song? Like, I mean, we kind of get slaves to the moment. We sort of forget, but I also wonder if that album like started out so damn strong it was impossible to kind of keep up that pace, with the quality of just the energy and the songs in general.
I think that makes sense. That's tough because I think, the rest of that record, to your point, Brian, wasn't, it definitely wasn't as in your face as the Alien was, but I still think it was good. I side with Hennig, where I think the best Mangini record was definitely Distance Over Time for me. I love that record. That might be a top 3 record for me overall. I literally have a single complaint about it, and it's that it's the overall mix is quiet. Like the other records are louder than that one. And if that's the only thing you can complain about with an album, I don't think you really have a complaint. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think my concern is that the fan expectation is it going to crush the album, You know, are people going to be so excited for him to come back that if they don't get images and words quality, are they going to be like, oh, this sucks? You know, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Like the fan expectation, how that's going to affect
Almost
it?
certainly.
Yeah,
Almost
I mean,
certainly.
Yeah.
fans are
People
going to be
gonna
like,
freak
oh,
out.
I'm expecting this to be this way, and it's got to be that way. And if it's not that way, John, I mean, to talk your language, look at The Last Jedi. For 2 years, everybody was like, well, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. When it didn't happen, well, it sucks. And if you look at early Dream Theater from like going from When Dream and Day Unite to around 6 Degrees or Train of Thought, every single album was different than the one before. You know, you had the same cooks in the kitchen, but each album had its own thing to say.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys literally just say that on the Octavarium ranking episode? It's just like this one is the more mellow prog album, whereas you've got Train of Thought, which is the heavy album, and then you got Scenes from Memory, which is the story album.
Well,
You
it's
know,
and
it's interesting to see if this is going to be the something album again.
well,
How
and
to
like
define it.
like we've said, I think that, you know, a lot of the records that there was a good long stretch of them that were kind of reactions to the one that came before. So you know, I wonder if that comes into play here. Like, do they go in there and just write a record from scratch and just no expectations, no anything? You know, Portnoy famously previously was, you know, each album had sort of like a concept behind it. You know, he had kind of like a direction. Like, are they going to do that? Are they just going to write from scratch, or are they going to be like, okay, well, try and guess what people wanted to hear more of during the Mangini years, and then try and write to that standard? Like, what are they going to do? You know, that's going to be, it's interesting.
Just go back to the point I just said. Like, forget about trying to be as good as images and words. Just trying to be as good as the Alien. I mean, shit. That's is there going to be one song on there that's that good? I mean, that's a really damn high bar, if you ask me.
It did win a Grammy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is an insanely, you know, I mean, John could relate, like, it's almost like a football analogy, like a, you know, like the NCAA, the transfer portal. Like, go get somebody. You're not going to get somebody who's better than who's already here. But that song was so damn good. It's like, and even just pick your favorite song on that album if you're a huge fan, whatever it was. Like, it's, how's it going to beat that? I mean, that's a tall order.
I think the other question. I think the other question is how long they can continue it. You know, how long can they continue this run? I mean, we've heard some rumors about what they're going to do, and you know, the thing that I've heard a few times mentioned is, you know, one studio album, a live record, and out. And I wonder if that is the case. You know, how that's going to work, because it's like, I mean, if this thing is huge, I mean, you'd almost think they have to go back on that decision. You can't just like write a huge record and be like, okay, we're still we're out. Like, no, because you're gonna make some money and you could go do it again. And so I just wonder how long they can keep it going. And you know, James has been on record as saying that he can't sing the classic stuff the same way anymore. So, you know, for how long does he want to continue to go out there not being able to sing the stuff in a way that he was most comfortable?
They're gonna do the kiss out.
I was about to say that. I was about to say.
They're gonna do the Kiss exit.
Yes.
I just read that the avatars are ready to go in 2027. So they're gonna record, then they're gonna tour, and they're gonna tour, and then they're gonna do the Avatar Dream Theater. And Mike is going back to winery drugs and all the other stuff.
Right. They don't need an avatar for my young, since he doesn't say or do anything anyway.
Yeah.
Dude doesn't age. It doesn't matter. He can just keep going. He doesn't age.
He doesn't age.
Right.
He doesn't age at all. And he's just.
May I enter a counterpoint?
No, but moving on.
Well, with the Portnoy coming back and the classic band being as it was, does this give James the opportunity to take a bit of a risk and change his vocal approach to those classic songs?
Well, I mean, I think he kind of has to. I mean, it's, you know, are they going to tune down all of a sudden? I mean, that would be.
I mean, they did pull me under on the last run in that half step again, which sounded awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there's more room for them to be able to keep doing something like that because they've offered up the compromise of, okay, we have to tune down, but here's Portnoy.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Like, here's your toss up. Like, here's your like how high you're gonna go, or here's Portnoy. Like, you have to weigh.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I think the fans are gonna be like, yes, we're back, we're fine. You can sing and go make him a bass. We'll be fine. We don't need our tenor back.
make him a bass. Pull me under, pull me under.
Okay, maybe a baritone. We'll make him a baritone.
Not afraid.
Just an
Another-
entirely spoken word.
Oh,
Yeah.
whole
Another
other
question.
meaning to rock opera at that point.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you guys.
What, you mean
I don't know
Theostotion?
how.
I love that though.
What do you think the concert attendance gonna change? Do you think it's gonna be an upswing like 25%, 30%, 50%, bigger
I
venues
think it's
from
gonna
the
look like a
get-go?
Bigger
vertical line
venues.
if you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. I'm already hoping that they don't tour too late in the year because we get so busy at work that I can't take time off, and
Okay.
I'm buying a plane ticket wherever that first show back is,
Okay.
which I
okay.
still think is going to be New York City.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I'm getting a plane ticket for Christ's sakes. Like I'm going to go wherever that first show is.
Yep.
Because I want to be in the room when with that energy, and
I'll grab the tickets, brother.
there you go, man. Let's do it. Like
We'll just Venmo you. It'll be fine.
yeah, right.
Seriously, that will be my GoFundMe when I find out where the first show is.
Oh,
Yeah.
Get me on that plane.
They're
Get
in
me to the
Australia
first show.
all the time, Kale. You can see them whenever you want in Australia.
But it's
I
not
think-
as
Right,
cool
they
as
haven't
the
been
first
here since
show.
fucking 2017.
I think in
Actually,
Germany
messing
they
with you.
could headline Wacken.
Really,
which is
that
the
big?
Yeah, I think so.
No
I
shit.
think their bump will be a lot bigger in the States. They're still pretty damn big everywhere else they play because metal just
Yeah,
in
but
general is bigger,
Yeah, they're
He-
big here. I think they don't have that many. But Wacken to headline Wacken, obviously Iron Maiden headline. But I think if they return to Germany and they could headline Wacken, yeah, I
Wow.
think so. Yeah,
That would be sweet.
I think they could.
I
Wow.
say it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Could do a nice.
Well, I
MC,
mean,
actually.
even in the States, they're not going to, John. I mean, let's be honest here. They're not playing the 20,000. Probably not even a. What are we at? 5,000. That's the problem. Is around Cleveland, we always say, what is around here that's 5,000 to 7,000. There's nothing, right? You got to go into that place over in Youngstown.
The Covelli Center, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably
Um,
that's probably about their max, I would say, unless you can get them like a few sold out shows at Radio City again or something.
Maybe that's going to be the first show back, Radio City Music Hall.
Oh my God! Then you could have been there twice.
You guys,
Don't
you guys,
start.
you,
Don't
you
start.
guys,
You're
you
trying.
guys are just jealous. You guys are just jealous. That's all.
Why am I jealous? I was there.
We've talked about this. It's not talking into infinity. It's drinking into infinity. We're just trying to live up to the name. Well, trying to make everyone else live up to the name. This is the extent of mine over here. So
I do have another gorilla fart sitting here, and it's
Right.
Go for it. Score. You were
Hey
there.
guys, I'm gonna jump out, and it's almost 3:00
yeah.
in
Oh,
Germany.
Jesus.
So
Fair enough,
I have to
mate.
catch some. I have to catch some sleep. It was a pleasure, being on here. Really enjoyed it, and great
Yeah,
to meet
man.
all of you. And happy to return anytime.
Yeah,
Cool hanging out with you, Dad.
Awesome, thanks,
Hey,
man.
we'll have to get you back on sometime. We'll do maybe
Absolutely.
like a weekend where we can actually do it early, and that way it's
Yeah.
not the ass end of the morning for
Absolutely.
you. So
You guys be well. Have a great Christmas, New Year's Eve, and stay
And to
safe
you, dude.
and healthy.
you too,
Bye-bye.
man.
Cheers, yeah.
Take
Bye-bye.
it easy, Hennig. So there goes
What a good
Hennig.
dude.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. I think I wonder what sort of stories he could have told, when he was talking about, Mike, being in a bad mood and that, falling into infinity run and stuff. I'm really wondering like what other stuff he could have talked about, but
A Like, where were they going to get the cheeseburgers from that he was jumping for?
Yeah,
Like,
he wanted McDonald's. Wasn't it McDonald's? That
it
he
was
talking
McDonald's
about?
or something. He just wanted cheeseburgers or some shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
He threw a fit on the bus because they wouldn't stop off at McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love that house fart story. That was really funny when I heard
How
that
big
one.
is house fart?
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. Oh my god. Oh, look who it is. It's JG3. What's up, man? Good to see you, buddy. He says, hey guys.
Hola.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, all that good stuff. Isn't it a bitch, man? You don't know what to say. Like
You
feel-
just
Say your thing, man.
I
Say
say
your
Merry
thing.
Christmas, and I have a friend who's Jewish. He says Happy Hanukkah. My sister-in-law has people who are still back in Africa. They say, Joyous Kwanzaa. You say what you feel, and they say it back. And if you get offended, then that's on you because you suck.
Yes, chastity.
I love
It's
it.
the intention. It's the intention. And all these people are like, well, why you guys say Merry Christmas? Maybe you don't. It's
That's
tough
what
shit.
I believe.
Yeah. It's
I'm
the
not
polite
going to go
thing
up
do.
to someone and be like, I don't personally celebrate Hanukkah, but if I know they do, I will return that. If I say Merry Christmas, they say Happy Hanukkah, I will wish them Happy Hanukkah back. But I'm not going to be like, I don't believe in that. You're a horrible person. You are inflicting your beliefs on me. No.
Take the route I've been taking in retail lately. Someone says Merry Christmas, it's just like, and to you. Done.
It's a very safe bet.
Isn't that how you answer when they say, may the force be with you?
And also with you.
And also with you.
Yeah.
You just cover all the bases. Merry Happy Christmas Kwanzaa.
Yes.
Yes.
There it is. There it is. Oh my God. So
That's a mouthful.
We started saying that in high school when our teachers weren't allowed to say Merry Christmas anymore. So they would write it on the board, Merry Happy Christmas Kwanzaa. So it just stuck. I'm sure other people do it, but it started like for me in my high school, we just wrote it on all the boards.
Christmas Kwanzaa. That's awesome. So, all right.
Can we get your brother to make me up a shirt that says that for next year?
AJ can make any shirt. And we do officially have the Chewbacca shirt, the Chewbacca's family shirt.
Yes.
With rashy discharge and crappy on it. So it looks amazing. So
And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, please go over and watch the Nerf Herder Council.
well, and I'm sure you guys didn't see this, but I actually introed the show saying Nerf Herder Council today. I blew the intro within like a sentence. So yeah, I'm like, oh, that's good. Nice work, dickhead. So, but all right. So Portnoy comes back. Is it like going around the round table? What is one song like you have to hear? Like what? I'll start with you, Brian. I'll go last. But Portnoy's back. What is one song you really hope is in the set list?
You really start with me?
Yeah.
I got to go off of Systematic Chaos. I got to get Nightmare to Remember. I know we just got it now, not that long ago. Was it with the images and
Black
words?
Clouds.
That's Black Clouds, dude.
Black
Oh,
Clouds.
sorry, Black Clouds. That song too. Yeah. You know what though? Yeah, let's go Dark Eternal Night then.
All right, that's a good one. That's a good one. What about you, Sean?
Lines in the sand.
Oh, I like it. All right. Kale, what about you?
Hard one. Probably Metropolis or Overture 1928.
Ooh, Overture. Okay, interesting. Robert, what about you?
Oh boy. I have like a couple. I'm refraining to say one of them to start a war.
Is it Octavarium?
Yes. Yeah.
No, it's hard.
We made a deal with Brian. We wouldn't bring it up too much. We would
I
be
know, that's
nice.
what I was trying to be like, yeah.
Leave
It's either that
studio
or-
or something.
What's the instrumental from Train of Thought? Stream of
Dream
Consciousness.
of Consciousness.
Yeah,
That
would be a
11
good
minutes
one.
is amazing. I would do
yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Wow.
I'd
Okay.
take that.
Hell yeah.
I'm cheesing out. I want my favorite song. I'm going Trial of Tears.
That was-
Actually, especially if they're doing the half step thing, then they've already got the guitar for it.
right.
Oh,
Look at-
sorry.
Chugga bar.
I wanted to
Duck-
say Constant Motion, but we got lucky and got that pretty recently. That was like a huge win.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, but
That
we
was
just
almost
got
10
it
years
with-
ago,
with
so-
the-
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was quite a while ago.
Look at
But we still got it.
Tom Cullen. Repentance. Go away, Tom.
Tom
Cut that
Cullen
shit out.
Is that
Cut
your
that-
real name? Please tell me that's not your real name.
Cut that shit out. All right. So, JG3 wants to know if he can join this thing. Yes.
Get
Jay,
in
just
here, dude.
shoot us an email, talkingintoinfinity@gmail.com, so that I have your email address, and then I will shoot a link over, and then you just click it, you go in the green room, we'll bring you on. So
We're talking about Portnoy, and Presley Portnoy is very excited. He keeps barking every time we talk
No.
about it.
he's hearing his own name.
He's like, me, go outside or go lay down. He's like, every time he's barking, I keep muting myself every time he barks.
Look at Jay. This is not clout. He says, for clout, I might be the only person who's seen Repentance live. Don't come to us with your problems.
I went to Shattered Fortress. I've seen it live as well. Doesn't make it any better.
See, we know that Portnoy watched the episode that we did when he came back, and I hope he doesn't hear us talking poorly about that. So he's like, yeah, I'm never going on that show. They crapped on Repentance. Like, sorry, man.
Watch that be like his
if
favorite
he's-
song to ever hear or perform or anything. And he's like, nope, y'all hate it. I'm coming.
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of a-holes. Screw your show. He's just trying to get us pulled out, like banned and all that stuff.
He's got to know at this point when we actually don't hate it that much. We just like to have a bit of a meme.
Yes, exactly. Ali Studio says, how's it going, guys? Rock on. Good to see you, man. Thank you for checking out the show. Yeah, obviously it's a conversation at this point. It's kind of been done to death, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Portnoy coming back. And I'll be very interested to see, when we start getting some news, because we know he's back and we've heard nothing. So, the band is, radio silent, and, Portnoy himself hasn't even said anything about, okay, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. Here's the plan. So, we really know nothing. So I'm wondering when we're going to get our first bit of, news out of the band. You would think it would have to be something pretty soon, no?
They're doing a Christmas album right now that's going to come out next Christmas.
Nice.
That's the word on the street.
It's called Mike's Back. You're welcome.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I say, I'm really hoping that the tour is like summertime, because if it's not summertime, like if it's later in the year, I don't know what the hell I'm going to be able to do, because we get we get so damn busy that
Oops, you came down with some sort of sickness. Just make something up.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wish, man.
That's
I
disturbing.
wish.
Well, it was both.
just get
All
down
right.
with the sickness.
Dude, I think we're almost a year away, because this stuff is booking up so far in advance now. I don't think they're going to be able to get a tour in by summer. I think everything's booked. I think it would be end of the year, at least at the earliest, end of 24.
Thankfully, my department's cool enough. If I'm like, look, guys, here's what I got to do. They'll be like, go, go, go. So,
I've been waiting 13 years. I'm going back.
yeah, I did. It's the concert attendance thing is going to be interesting. Is it for me? It's like that it's going to pack out, but is it going to stay?
But where do you think it's going to be in the city? Because you've been to you've been to that the basement of MSG. You've been to Radio City. Were you at any of the Beacon shows?
I was not.
Okay, all right. So they've done the Beacon. They've done Roseland. That was standing room only, so it doesn't count. We want to talk like big theaters, like the Beacon Theater. Where the hell were they?
Actual main arena of MSG count with the Iron Maiden opener? Or?
That counts, but that's not. That's more of a we're opening for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Where sure, but I'm just saying, as far as a Dream Theater headlining night.
Yeah. No,
they did 2 nights in a row at the Beacon. They did 2 times at Radio City, which I think probably would be the place if
How
it's
many
not that
does
other place.
Radio City hold? How many does that hold?
A lot, but I don't know the exact number. I think
Googling
it's
it.
more, I think
Ladies and
it's more than
gentlemen, Sean
Beacon.
Faust, talking into infinity.
I've got all the numbers for you. I think it's bigger than Beacon.
6,013.
It's
6,013,
6,013.
yeah.
Did you just make that up?
No, I
Google
googled
open
it
in
too.
another tab.
All right. So it'd probably be they were a beacon.
So
I
if they
would
did
hope.
that twice, they did 12. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yours is
picturing
better.
as big of a bump as you guys are. I'm thinking more in the 20% range. I don't know. Could be way off
Well,
here.
I
Beacon's
think
way
they'll start.
smaller.
I think they'll be
Bacon is
selling
way
out
smaller.
again.
Yeah.
They definitely will.
All right. So Ali's Studio says, "What are you guys looking forward to hearing from the new Dream Theater album?"
Music.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Doug
Songs,
McCauley,
some
it was his
instruments,
music.
and some
Part
singing.
2.
Yeah.
I think
don't-
there's going to be some drums and
Yeah.
some bass, some guitar, maybe some keyboards. I've heard they might be experimenting a bit with that one.
I don't want to hear the
And
fourth
there's probably
song,
going to be
whatever
some
it
guy
is.
singing over it.
They might have a guitarist in there sometimes.
Poor Ali's Studio, man. All the sarcasm flowing up from an innocuous question.
And an abundance of beards.
Yes.
I
Well,
think, I mean, to be serious,
Yeah.
we talked about the heaviness, maybe a little bit heavier. Back to some serious, some train of thought kind of vibes with Portnoy back, probably. That's
I
probably
could
what
see
I'm
that.
expecting.
I could see that. I mean, Ali's Studio says, I'm hoping there'll be some 7-string stuff. I mean, Portnoy's or excuse me, Petrucci is always busting out the 7-string, so I think that's, I think that's a given. Hopefully, Doug McCauley says you're likely to get some 8-string action. That one will be
Nah.
interesting to see.
Please no.
I don't. Where do you guys stand on Awaken the Master? Like,
Meh.
yay, nay, like.
Meh.
I thought he used it well. I thought it was a cool song. It did sound a little weird with how damn low it was. It was something, it was very unique for a Dream Theater song. Honestly, I thought he would have used it a little bit more on that song because it really was only, that main riff and then a little part of the rest of it. So he didn't really go overboard with that. So
So that song only exists for that guitar as well.
Yeah, I know. So, but hey, maybe Doug's right. Maybe he'll do that so that he can use the guitar more. It's like, I got to get more use out of this damn thing. I made it. Look, Ali Studio says "Awaken the Master" is a great song. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see what carries over from the Mangini stuff. I mean, is this going to sound like strictly like a Portnoy era album, or are they going to actually be is it going to be like a combination, or I'm wondering how that writing is going to go.
I would love to know, has Portnoy sat down and actually listened to every album Mangini was on, like front to back? Has he actually done that? Has he done that?
I mean, that's such a.
I have no idea. I don't think he has.
I think right now you would have to. I mean, it's
okay. Well, let's say he does. What does he think of it?
Well, he has to learn Breaking All Illusions.
yeah.
No, he's just going to play Learning to Live while Dream Theater play.
he refuses to play it, just plays his own song over the top of it.
It's like, mine is cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be 4 Mangini songs maybe in the new tour.
Probably.
Probably no more than that, huh?
Probably
So Breaking All
Alien.
Illusions.
Yeah, I was going
what
to
are
say
the other
Alien
3?
should be on there.
I'd definitely like to hear Pale Blue Dot.
That'd be a good one.
Well, you can like to hear it. I doubt they pull that out.
Tom Cullen says, I'm wondering if they're going to have a writing recording session like Distance Over Time. Yonder Barn. Yeah. Cabin in the Woods Isolation. Tom, I don't think they're going to do that because they invested all that money in DTHQ. So I think they're going to hole up in there because it's, look at Jay, for the love of God. JG3, what do I email again? talkingintoinfinity@gmail.com. Yeah, Tom, I don't think they're going to do that because they would have to pay for that, and they've got their own studio for a reason now. So I think, they may hole up in there and do that, but I don't know about DTHQ. I don't know if they can spend the night and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's one of those types of things, but
They're Dream Theater. They'll just pay people. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Again, I'm thinking it's going to be super energetic. I think it's going to be, like the kind of frenetic stuff on. I think we're going to get a record of extremes. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're going to have like the crazy frenetic stuff, like Panic Attack and things like that. And then you're going to have like some really beautiful mellow moments in there. It's like, I don't think there's going to be much middle of the road.
Weird thing is, I would have thought if you were going to get an album of extremes, it would have been done with Mangini.
I see what you did.
Play on words. Look at that. All right. I deserve that.
He just annihilated us on that one.
And the audible eye rolls from the other 5 people.
Yes. Yeah. Although I can't really eye roll. I got to be careful that I actually strained an eye muscle eye rolling at the Star Wars Holiday Special so badly. That's a real thing.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh God, unfortunately I did.
Stir, whip, 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 stir. Oh, it's so good.
No. I literally strained a muscle in my left eye.
Oh, come on, man. You know it's better than Revenge of the Sith.
Eat a dick.
And Sean Faust has just been excommunicated.
I know, right?
Exactly.
And banned from chat.
Banned from the chat.
John's going to start just banning.
Banned from the show, banned from life.
I felt that it was missing Purgles. That would have made it even better.
Wrong show. We're not discussing Purgles.
I know. They do.
Damn you.
I love you.
Oh my God. So
let me get my beater.
I'm gonna change my account. There's no way they're gonna play four Mangini songs on that tour. I'm gonna say 2.
What do you think they're gonna be?
Because they're only gonna play most of the time they only play about 12 songs because the songs are so long, right? 12, 13.
Yeah.
Well, it depends if we're going evening with or if we're going
if they
back to that 2-hour format.
I don't think James can do a 3-hour show. Honestly, I don't think that's good.
Stick Stream of Consciousness in there. Give him a 10-minute break. He'll be fine.
I think the most they could probably play would be what do you think, John? About 2 hours total, maybe a little over.
Yeah, I think that's
2:10 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
We could just stick lots of instrumentals and then we'll just stretch it out and give him more chance to do the breath spray like the Chloraseptic.
Yeah.
Go back to the jams, man.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, if I had hope for anything, I like the rotating set lists. I like changing it up and whatnot. And I understand that the video show was synced up and everything, so they kind of had to do it the way that they've been doing it. But I'm with you, Kale. Like, I kind of miss the show not being on rails. You know what I mean? Like, I really like when they just kind of go off into like a jam session and stuff like that. And I think with James, like I said, he said he can't sing the old stuff like he used to. Like, those jams give him a little bit more of a break to keep him fresh. So I think just from that standpoint, I think it'd be smart for them to do it that way. JG3, I emailed you the link, so all I gotta do is click that link and you'll show up in the green room, and then we can bring you in here. But yeah, I would like that, Kale.
Yeah.
So let's see. Only 2 songs from the Mangini era. That's interesting. I want Our New World because I love that song.
Oh yeah.
I really like that song.
Yeah.
I'd say that and Alien.
Alien, yeah, probably. As much as we joke about Breaking All Illusions, that might be a good one because it is so popular.
Oh, I mean, it's such a classic. It was an instant classic. Everybody, Brian, this is your favorite Dream Theater record, correct? The first time you heard that song, were you like, man, this is like, that was the instant classic for you, right?
I'd love it, but I don't know. I feel like some of those older ones I think are going to get big time ignored. I don't know, just because they're just limited on time.
Yeah, I mean, but see, and I think the thing that they have to do though is, with the Portnoy records, they can do deep cuts, because everyone is there for that. Like, but I think if you're pulling from the Mangini stuff, you have to do the high spots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I don't
think
think
going to be that many of them. That's all.
No, but I completely agree with you. I will say, I'll be shocked if they don't play any of them. That would be kind of crazy to me if they didn't.
He's already said that he would. He's like, there's 13 years without me. Of course I'm open to doing that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and
I just
especially
don't know what their plan is.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of person that Portnoy is, though. He likes doing all that stuff. You know, he is like music historian guy, and you know and so now that it's happening in his own band, you know, I don't think he's going to ignore, you know, all of the Mangini stuff. I don't think there's any way that I don't think they can. You know, that's kind of shitty to, you know, say, hey, we did this.
I don't even think it's on purpose. It's just a time thing, you know. So I will set the over and under at 3. So who says over and who says under? Or who says
let's see what JG3 has to say. What's up, man? How's it going? Oh, he's on a big delay with us. Look at this guy.
You're on a delay.
Echo.
Wow.
Hey, how's it going? Good to meet you.
15
Yeah,
seconds
man.
later.
Yeah, 15-second delay. 15-second delay.
That's how mine was.
It's like watching a stream or something.
I know.
Wait, hold on. Let's see. Is it something to do with my audio?
Yeah, we can hear your audio coming through your computer.
Hold on. Let's see. Oh, you know what? No, I figured it out. It's because I still have my phone next to me. There you go. Is that better now?
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go.
Sorry.
All right. Good. So, all right. So, what do you think? 2 or 3 Mangini songs in the new set list when Portnoy and the band hits the road?
You know, I really think it's not going to be many. I don't think it's going to be many. I think maybe they're going to convince him maybe to do 2, maybe 3. And I think it has to do with not just the whole fact that he wasn't a part of the music. I really don't know at this stage of his career if he can actually pull off some of the stuff Mangini does. I mean, Mangini's pretty good.
Well, I think that's a good point. That is something to consider. Is
good take. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, the technical prowess required. Like Portnoy is a beast. We all know that. But some of the stuff, you know, to your point, Jay, that Mangini did, you're like, what in God's name is that?
There are songs that I could see them doing. Like a great one would be Along for the Ride. I could see Portnoy doing like his own little twist, kind of Rush-esque. It would be his own twist. It wouldn't be exactly like Mangini. In a way, I actually would prefer his own style on that kind of a song. Or like Transcending Time, those kind of songs.
Yeah.
I could see them pulling out those kind of songs, and definitely Breaking All Illusions, because I think that's probably considered the classic of the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Along for the Ride, you would have swore that you would have swore that was a Portnoy song because of that kind of Beatlesy feel.
Oh yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like I would never in a million years think that that's a Mangini as opposed to a Portnoy if you didn't know the difference going in.
Yeah, especially around that time they were doing the Flying Colors stuff, which was very similar in style to what they were doing on that song. So yeah, you're right.
The interesting thing to me is going to be what the Mangini stuff sounds like with Portnoy playing it. You know, because Mangini is more of like a technician's drummer, whereas Portnoy's got that kind of rock feel to him. You know, even though it is prog and all that stuff. So I wonder what infusing the Portnoy style into those Mangini songs is going to sound like.
So I don't know if you talked about this, but Portnoy had put up this video on YouTube about him playing Pull Me Under, and it's kind of his first real introduction as, hi, I'm Mike Portnoy, drummer from Dream Theater. It's kind of cool to hear again.
Yeah.
His Drumeo or
Drumeo, yeah.
However you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, and in that he says, you know, I've never played to a click track, you know, I've always set the tempo of the songs. And he also said during it that we played Pull Me Under thousands of times before, and we're probably going to play it thousands of times still. I mean, that's probably, you know, they're probably not going to play it thousands of times more.
Yeah.
But it definitely sounds like they're probably going to abandon the click track, and they're probably going to play Pull Me Under. Maybe downtuned, but they'll definitely still play it.
Well,
yeah.
The click track thing is interesting because, you know, they were doing that because, you know, I think we've all, you know, heard the rumors of them piping in some backing vocals So are they going to not do that now that you've got Portnoy back in the band and he's, a more accomplished singer than he was previously?
I
mean,
think they're done with that. I think they're done with that. I think with Portnoy being back in the band, I think Portnoy really likes the live element of the show. And John Petrucci couldn't really do all the backing vocals, all the harmonies that they were doing on the album. So I understood. I actually really liked it on the Along for the Ride tour and early on in the Mangini era, where you could still hear Petrucci's voice. You could still hear the harmonies that they were piping in that were the additional harmonies, and you could hear James very clearly. But then it slowly became where Petrucci was kind of just like, up
lip
there.
syncing, yeah.
I mean, not lip syncing. I'm sure he was actually singing, but his mic was so low that you just literally could not hear it. And I don't know. I mean, I really liked it on the last tour, the Dream Sonic tour, where I could hear him again. I mean, he's not a bad backing vocalist. He's not like a world beater, but he's not bad.
No, I completely agree with that, man. Alex Neal, interesting. He says, I think The Alien and Breaking All Illusions will go down in history as two of the all-time great Dream Theater songs. That kind of begs a question. Where do you guys think that the Mangini stuff is going to end up in the Dream Theater legacy? I kind of feel like it's going to end up being like it's like a Star Wars type of situation with like the prequels, where when they came out, they were kind of like, they were divisive, and it took a while. Fans were very divided, but now that a bunch of years have passed, people are like, oh yeah, eat my ass, Brian. What
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, they have to release something really bad for these to go way up in value.
But no, it's like, people now are like, okay, like I really like these movies, like, get when you're removed from them for several years, you kind of look back with a different appreciation. I kind of feel like the Mangini stuff is going to be like that. What do you guys think?
Don't everybody talk at once.
Yeah.
But if you want, I'll continue talking. I got opinions.
There you go.
Keep shouting them out. I mean, I really like A View from the Top of the World. I think it's actually like a top 5 album for me. And Distance Over Time, I think, is right there with it. I think those are really, really good albums where they finally got the production right. They finally got Mangini's drum sound right. I mean, on the self-titled album, his drum sound is... I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were trying to do on that album. That whole album.
Snare is off.
It sounds terrible.
Synthetic.
Yeah. And I mean, Dramatic Turn of Events has some really good stuff on it. I mean, it's got Build Me Up, Break Me Down on it, which is probably about 7 minutes too long.
Gonna get the doghouse with Brian with that.
But I mean, it's got Bridges in the Sky, which originally was going to be called Shaman's Trance, and I think that's a better name for it, because then the album could have been called Bridges in the Sky, and it would have fit nicely with the album artwork. And they messed up there.
That would have been a cool album title. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they messed up there.
All right, so
been, even if Bridges in the Sky was kept by that same name, would have been a title track. Would have been a good title track.
Yeah.
I like Shaman's Trance.
Doug
Especially when
McCauley
it starts
says,
out, I like that.
Doug McCauley says, I'm totally stoked for Portnoy harmonies. The only thing missing the last 13 years. Yeah, he does add a vocal element to things, which I think is going to be kind of cool. Again, especially because, he's been, singing more for the last 13 years, so he's more accomplished than he was. But, Robert, what do you think? Where do you think the Mangini stuff is going to land in terms of, its legacy within the Dream Theater catalog?
Oh, I have no clue. It's definitely going to be divisive. Like if fans were already like on the fence with like the first 2 albums, The Astonishing is just going to be like, bah, 50-50, which it already has. But it's honestly like now you got me calling the album Bridges in the Sky. Goddamn.
Nice.
Dramatic Turn of Events. That one was like good, but it wasn't really Mangini playing, since like the drumming tracks were already a thing. But like it kind of kept progressively getting better. Like, the Astonishing was, the Astonishing. As much as I love it, I'm like, yeah, but it's just telling a tale. But going to like, Distance Over Time was like great. Then View from the Top of the World was just flat down like one of the best things Mangini era wise that I've ever like listened to. And so going from like that back to like Portnoy style is going to be very different, but I'm honestly kind of excited to see what it's going to be like.
What about you, Chastity? Where do you think the Mangini stuff is landing in terms of the legacy of the band?
I think so. I'm the Harry Potter nerd. Give me like Dream Theater and Harry Potter, and I'm fine.
I'm super into Harry Potter, man. I've said it, like I'm with you there. I got hooked.
So you're talking about how it's going to be divisive, and I think you have like the films versus the movies, and then you have the Cursed Child, which I think there's going to be some things from the Mangini area that they're going to treat like the Cursed Child. There are going to be people that are going to be like, this is what Dream Theater should have been. This needs to be in there. We need to have it all the time. And then you're going to have the people that look at it and go, no, yes, it exists. It's Dream Theater, but we're going to put it over there and it can stay over there. Because even there's some songs, doesn't matter who it is, that you look at it and go, I don't know. Doesn't matter what band it is. They could be. And there's always one song that everyone will look at and go, do we want that as their top 10 hit?
That's right.
Room 137 has entered the chat.
Nice.
I like
But
that.
I think there's going to be some songs that are going to be like the Cursed Child, where the majority, or not the majority, but some people are going to say, we don't want this listed as it. We accept that people like it, but we'll put it this way. I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a dumbass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
Well played. Well played.
So there are some songs like The Alien that are going to stay in their repertoire. I think they should stay in there because, yes, it was a Grammy-winning song. They were nominated before that. They've been nominated 3 times, but they won with The Alien. So that needs to stay there. But not everything needs to be brought up in forefront and made to say, here, Portnoy, now you have to learn how to play these. Yes, you're going to put your own spin, but here you go. You can have these, and now you have to do it.
Yeah. Kale, what do you think? Where do you think the Mangini stuff is going to, benefit of hindsight?
I don't know. It's. I think it's only a matter of time. I feel like for a lot of fans, it's still going to be rounded out on the bottom end of things with When Dream and Day Unite and The Astonishing as kind of the bastard children. And then I think that Dramatic Turn and Distance Over Time is going to be in a lot of people's upper pantheon. So I don't think trying to divide it into, here's Mangini's albums as a whole is going to leave the proper data for what the legacy is going to be like. I think each album is, as they are now, taken as a very separate entity, which they should be, and we'll see how fans like it when we're up to the end of the road.
Sean.
Which could be soon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hey,
I hate that
another-
rumor so much. That's
I
such
know.
a stupid rumor.
Stop it.
like there's the 1% that you have to look at and go, they're in their 50s and 60s, and like Rude was born in 57. Like they're not 20 anymore.
The Stones, Mick
yeah.
Jagger is still running
I
around.
didn't say
on
they
that
were
stage,
stopping.
like
I'm
he's
just saying
coked
like
out.
they're not going to be out there,
They play different music.
stage diving
know, but-
anymore.
Yeah, Dream Theater plays good music and the Rolling Stones play shit. There's your
Nobody
hot
said
take.
that.
See,
No,
yeah,
I
that
did.
wasn't-
I
Oh,
did.
okay.
I
I
hate
was
the
like,
Rolling
hey.
Stones.
I was like,
I hate the
I-
Rolling Stones.
That's exactly the point. You've still got the Rolling Stones. You've still got Iron Maiden. I mean,
yeah,
Bruce
that's
was
it.
only
Yeah.
born the year after Jordan Rudin,
let's
and
not
he's
go
still up
ages
there
They sound
and-
sloppy.
screaming his lungs
I'm just
out.
saying when people are saying, "Oh, let's pull back exactly the same thing," they don't know necessarily if they have the same energy they did at Berkeley.
No
I-
one's
But
got
they
the
ever
same
really had much
they did at
energy on
Berkeley.
stage.
That's-
Jay, I was just about to say that. Like, I think,
Well, even like studio wise.
well,
gonna need-
see, I don't know, Chastity, because like I think I'll bring up Distance Over Time. I think to me that was a record like that had an old school feel to me. It was new Dream Theater, but it was It was energetic. It had that quality to it. It was like, damn, you know. But I also think that record was a product of the environment in which it was created. And those of us on here that are musicians that have played in a band know that writing a song over the internet and like file sharing with people is never as good as when you get in a room with like 3 or 4 other dudes and start bashing it out at full volume. It can't. There's an energy that is lacking. And I think on Distance Over Time, I think the reason that one stands out as the best Mangini record is because they did spend, a month or two at Yonder Bar. Look at this live show guy over here.
Start working on an album.
Hey, I've got my guitar over here. I actually have it. It's working, and I got the John Petrucci plugin, so I've been screwing around with the Petrucci plugin. It's a lot of fun.
Don't start threatening people.
Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I've got craziness.
Oh boy, like Brian's family. Why is this? Is my camera on? It says I'm in the stream with audio only.
Dad said that for me too.
You're there. I can see you.
What did you do?
Unfortunately, we could still see you.
I didn't touch it. But no, like, I mean, I think with Distance Over Time, it's got that certain energy to it because they did sit in a room and just start, banging ideas off each other. And I think it shows.
I'll say with the age thing, and John, we talked about this before because I just turned 47, and I told you. No, kidding aside, but I told you before that, like, I know that I have sort of a finite time of just, and I just play crappy, cover songs on piano and just for the hell of it, and do fart jokes and stuff on stage and do a little bit of rock covers too here and there. But I know there's a finite time. Like, I don't think anybody wants to see me up there doing that when I'm 60. So I have like a 5-year window. So I think these guys are probably looking at it the same way. Like, we probably have a 3 to 5 year window. Let's milk it for all we can, touring wise. Do one album, see how it does. I think the rumor was, John, that Aiken had said that probably a live album again. Just see. I think it's more like do that first album, get on the road, see how good it goes, say how good it feels, and hell with it. If it feels great and you're up for it, do it second. Do another album. But I'd say do it quickly because they're not getting any younger.
Well, I didn't start the age thing. I'm going off what James said in Utah when he was there. He goes, I can't run the same way I was running around effing 30 years ago. I can't do that shit anymore. And he made this comment, and because he's
right.
like, 20 years ago, I'd have been losing my mind at this, and this. And so he's admitting it, that he's like, I can't run around like a crazy person on the stage anymore. But
yeah, no, agreed. And that was my point. It's a finite thing. So, do it now and do it the best way you can, just tailor the set. If you got to tune down a half step, do whatever you got to do to do it now. Cause they're not gonna be able to do it in 10 years. So
yeah, I think they need to do it for everyone, not just James. Like they need to, I liked the idea on the dramatic tour of events where they did the little acoustic section. Because you need to give each band member a break at some point or another. You need to do maybe a little acoustic section, maybe do 1 or 2 or 3 instrumentals, or like a drum solo or a guitar solo, and
then even bringing into that, you could do John. What's the one I'm thinking of off of Scenes from a Memory?
Scenes from a Memory.
Through Her Eyes.
And Through Her Eyes, yeah.
Through Her Eyes, yeah.
But they've got the drum machine. Then you've still got a song going on, and you've got Mike having a break.
Yeah, it's just to give everybody a break throughout the night, because that has got to be really difficult to do night in and night out. And I really think this whole thing with Portnoy coming back to the band, I think, I mean, this is just speculation, but I do think it's because somebody wants to retire. I think it's because somebody wants to retire, and they're like putting out a time frame of, all right, in 5 years, I want us to be retired, but this is how I want the band to finish. That's my speculation.
I could see that. I mean, and it sucks, because I mean, you see all these other bands that, I mean, I'll just say it. There's a lot of shit bands that are playing into their 70s and stuff, and you're just like, man, why can't my favorite band do that? Like, like,
Yes, it's awful right now.
Well, they will be if it's 5 years. Jordan's 667, so
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like, it just for me it sucks because I'll never get Van Halen again. That whole thing is very sad. That's why I think one of the reasons that I like Wolfgang Van Halen so much is because it is, first of all, I love the music, but second of all, it's like my last, him and Sammy Hagar, like I'll always go to see their shows because it's like my last kind of tie to my favorite band. And with Dream Theater, I mean, if they were to stop too, it'd be like, son of a bitch, man. Like it's just, it's kind of it's a sad kind of a thing. I think I just,
yeah.
Address that question. All right, is anyone expecting Ali Studio an instrumental song from DT? I'm actually not, only because they just the last LTE album is not that old, and he did Petrucci's solo album, so I don't think they need to do that.
No,
being the reason they're back together. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yep. Chad Stevermer, good to see you, man. He says Iron Maiden is not a shit band. How dare you? I did not say it. Iron Maiden.
No one said they were.
I didn't do
just
that.
saying they're a bit older.
Yeah.
Doug McCauley says Metallica isn't shit. Lars Ulrich is fucking terrible. Lars Ulrich absolutely is shit. I don't care
now.
Yeah, I do
awful.
not. I don't care what
Doug,
Mike
you
Portnoy
didn't-
says. All these drummers are having to defend him because he needs to be defended because he's terrible. He is terrible. I mean, that new record would be really. I mean, I like the new record, 72 Seasons, but if he would do some interesting drumming on there, that would be an awesome record. Instead, he's doing his goddamn AC/DC shit.
Going to.
It's 71 seasons too long is the biggest part of it.
Right. All right. So I have a question for you guys. Doug McCauley brought this up, and I was going to ask you guys anyway. So Doug McCauley says, trigger warning. Portnoy would have never let the astonishing happen, or at least made it a hell of a lot better. Well, first of all, for disrespecting the astonishing, you're now banned from the chat.
Yes.
Well, you triggered John. That worked.
Yeah. Number one, I think he would have let it happen because, as a concept record, I think he's into that sort of idea. And I think it was, to me, it's like the most Dream Theater thing they've done in a very, very long time, in an era when, music is disposable and everything. Quit rolling your eyes, Sean. Like in an era where music is considered disposable and people are just releasing singles and EPs and stuff, Dream Theater releases a double concept record. Like that is like the most progressive thing ever.
It's even beyond that. They did a musical, if you want to look at it. Like they pretty much said, okay, here's a musical. We've never done this before. Once again, going into the territory of, hey, we've never done this before. Let's try this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as much of a failure as it was, it's still something different that they got to do. And I'm kidding about the failure for the Astonish shit, but it's, I don't know if
are you seriously call it the Astonish shit?
No,
all the time. That's his name for this.
There.
Wait, did I say that's not what I meant to say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
I meant to say the Astonish shit. So it's no, Portnoy. I think Portnoy would have let it happen. It would have been, but it would have had more of a Who vibe to it. It would have had that rock and roll, like Tommy the musical vibe to it, instead of Tommy the rock opera, which are completely different things. But they set out there to do something completely different, and they completely succeeded. Whether or not it was good, it's up to John. John can decide for the rest of us if it was a good album or not.
No, let's not do that.
And I loved the Peter Revolian book, and it actually made me appreciate the album even more.
Yeah. Well, that was my question. Going around the horn. Obviously that's the last album that we have to deep dive, and Robert Husted will be doing that with Brian and I. So I love it personally. I love it. I know it's that is the album Dream Theater fans battle over. Personally, I love it. I completely love it. I think it's a really cool concept. I thought the story was, to me, the story was interesting because it was Petrucci being pissed off at the current state of affairs in music.
He rewrote 2112, bro.
Thank you.
Right?
I don't have to say it again.
Yes,
A little bit, yeah.
that's pretty
Little
much.
bit.
Except
what the
somebody
story is.
except somebody murders their brother. Is that the only
All
difference?
right, so it's 2112 meets Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Well-
but okay. Here's another hot take.
Which didn't
it
age
was-
that well.
Hot take.
if it was rewriting 2112, they redid it with vocals you could actually tolerate. Getting me
Oh,
the whole
John,
time.
you've
getting-
been banned
getting
from the
the-
chat.
Oh, dude, that
John has been banned from the chat.
I'm banned on my own show. Yeah. All right. So Brian, like, let's go around and thoughts on the astonishing. I mean, we haven't done a deep dive yet, Brian, but where do you land on this one?
Oh God, we're rehashing this again.
We've never talked about it.
Just
We've
in
talked-
passing
yeah,
every
it's
time
Talked
it
here and
comes
there.
by.
I don't think Portnoy would have allowed it. I still to this day think it's the borderline Petrucci solo album with Rudess doing the majority of the music. I still don't think it's a Dream Theater album.
Okay, Sean. Although, given the name that you keep using for it, I think we already know where you stand.
No, I don't hate it at all, to be honest. It's one of those where, hey, I feel like listening to Dream Theater, but I've played all these out today. Let me put on something different, and it's usually like that. I'll pop it on, and I do enjoy it when it's on, but when it's over, I'm kind of like, oh, all right, I just listened to something pretty cool. Like there was the Sabotage song that's on there that's very Sabotage, and Our New World is a perfect tune, man. I love that song. There's a lot of great stuff on it. It's just, as a whole, it doesn't do it for me, but I still applaud them for accomplishing something completely different.
Chastity, your thoughts on the astonishing?
I like it. There's a couple songs on there that remind me of a book series by Brandon Sanderson, the Mistborn series, that they're very not what's the word I want for being held down, repressed and different things. And my husband listened to it and he goes, is this just the Mistborn soundtrack? Like instead of having, Allomancy powers, they have music. Is this just musical Mistborn? Which is good. We love this series. And I'm like, it could be. And so I like it. I like that you can follow the story straight through.
Okay. Robert, I know you're a fan, so your thoughts?
Yep. Dude, this is I think this is the album that like came out when I first got into it, that like they came out with it, that everyone was like, yeah, but like honestly, just listening to it like straight through, which that's what people complain about, like, I won't say actually enjoy it. Like there's some songs here and there that like are epic by itself, like crap, is going blank. Moment of Betrayal, that's a good one. I can't think of the other one in Act 1, but I just love it. And then also like just reading the book too, which just made me be like, oh man, this story's so cool, except for the part where there was no sword fight in the book, and that made me a little upset. Not gonna lie.
That was a little anomaly there, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kale, the astonishing, your thoughts?
Not only do I think Portnoy would have let it happen, I think he'd have gone further with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think if Portnoy was in the band, you now have 2 more voices in the band that actually sing, because, Petrucci wasn't really singing as much on the records without Portnoy there. But I feel like it would not be all James doing me singing every character. I think we actually would have ended up with something along the lines of an Arion or an Avantasia album. I think Portnoy would have taken, I don't know, maybe Darius or someone like that. Portnoy could have been Nefarious, and then do like what they did with the Our New World single, grab maybe not necessarily Lizzie Hale, but, Christina Scabia, someone they're close to play those roles. I think it actually could have been a way different album, because I think Portnoy would have pushed that kind of idea.
Okay. I don't know how that would have worked though, because if they're going on tour and doing the whole record, I think then it would have been kind of weird to not have those voices. I think that would have been.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know they would have toured it quite the same way they did.
Okay. All right.
And
Jay,
you know what? I think if they had, that's something else they could have done in the New York area, quite frankly.
True. Yeah. Chad Steverman says Kale's reading the chat. Yeah, like he did mention like it'd be good if it was an Arion album. It's like, oh, it's right in there. Jay. He mentioned it, you know. Yeah, he said yeah. But
if it was more like what Kale had said, I think it might have been a better record, but it would have been an even more divisive record. Especially if there was a bunch of different vocals. I think people tune into Dream Theater to mostly hear James sing. Mostly, I mean, I do like the record. I do not like the production on the record. There are a lot of times where I'd rather hear the orchestra, the choir a little bit more. There are actually mistakes on the record. There's a song, The X Factor, where like James is like, take an evening to decide. And there's like this pause right in this like center of it that you can never unhear. You'll never unhear it now that I just told you.
Why are you doing that, Jay? Why are you doing that shit to us, Jay?
Can you sing that again real quick?
No.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Yeah, don't trust him, Jay. Don't trust him. Yeah, I don't know. Like I love the record. I was really surprised it didn't get more love. Like I figured that's a very Dream Theater thing to do. And, you know, I mean, you know, Doug McCauley says most of the tracks are barely songs. Like, yeah, I mean, they're, you know, it's one giant piece chopped up into little bits, granted, but I still thought it was cool. It was like, oh my God.
Noise, man, I'm a machine. What do you think of those tracks?
You know, Sean,
it would
Without
be a
them,
better
it's
album
cool.
without him.
You know, Sean,
Yeah.
it's part of the story, okay? It's
Is
part
it?
of the story.
Yeah, a minute and a half.
Not really, though, is it?
I'm glad the book explained what that bullshit was.
You already knew what they were. The damn Nomax. It said it in the liner notes.
There were
Good
liner
Lord.
notes?
You of all people didn't get that. Come on.
It's like there's notes to this.
There were
What?
liner notes?
Yes, explaining
lyrics?
things in the
What?
liner notes in an age of digital releases.
No,
That was
I
a
bought
smart
this one.
idea, wasn't it?
It was
Wait,
a
I
I
wrote
miss
final
those
thought.
though. I miss having like the notes about it when you buy
Right.
the actual album, having everything in there.
Oh, I got a European import. It's thick, man. It's like that. And
Yeah,
it's got
see,
the
I
big
remember
book
just-
and everything. Oh,
I
it's
miss
great.
it. You take it out, it's got the actual lyrics in it. Now it's just like, thanks, random record company. Nobody cares. Tell me what you're singing.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're saying.
Well, I
I
mean,
want
and-
to Google it.
see, and that's the thing. Like I collect like vinyl to frame and put on my wall of like my favorite records, and I'm never sure if I should open them or not before I frame them. Because I keep them in the plastic, like, but I kind of want to see the interior. Like I don't know. I'm still so torn. Like I opened my copy of Mammoth 2, the new Wolfgang record, because I bought a signed copy, so I'm like I had to see because he was actually personalizing some of the interior, like the liner, like with like doodles and shit. And I was like, man, I gotta see if I got one of the doodles. So I had to open that one, but
And you did not.
No doodle.
look at this. So Brian, why are you
He's
texting me?
ignoring you.
No, Brian's texting me instead of putting it in a private chat. He says he's about to leave. He said
I got a book, guys, because I'm taking off early tomorrow. I got to do Christmas with the wife. So happy Christmas, everybody! 12
Merry
Dogs
Christmas,
at Christmas
sir.
Ale. You had
Merry
this one, John?
Christmas.
I have
Merry
not. I'm
Christmas,
not. I'm not a Christmas ale fan, actually.
Okay, I'm not either. But
I
this
love
isn't bad,
Christmas
man.
ale.
I don't think we even sell that.
Thirsty Dog Brewing. So
It's huge over here, kid. The only one that I like, there's an Akron brewery called Hop and Frog that makes one that's like a frosted sugar cookie Christmas ale, and that one is actually pretty good. Yeah.
this is 8.3, so it's got some kick.
Oh, that's got to taste delicious.
Hey guys,
Well-
seriously though, cheers! Thanks a
Brian-
lot for like an
Sir.
awesome 23.
Brian, cheers to you.
Hoorah.
Gorilla Fart number 2. I love you, man. Another great year of the show.
All right, we'll check up with you guys next year. Everybody have a great holiday. All right,
Oh, that's so
You
awful.
did the same, man.
I love Chase.
peace, John. Oh, nice.
It's a fox.
I'll
You know what I used to have? Does anybody remember Craig Ferguson?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was the
Yeah.
Irish. He used to have the snake coffee mug, and one of
Oh,
my
yeah.
best friends, one of my best friends bought it for me, and I lost it in one of my moves, and I'm very upset that I don't have it. But I love that cup. It's very. If you've never seen it, like look it up. Just Craig Ferguson snake mug.
Why did it
I'm
have to be
Like a
snakes?
rattlesnake.
Yeah, why'd it have to be snakes? Yeah, Sean, I know you got to get going here pretty soon too.
I
But
do.
yeah, definitely coming up here soon. We'll get together and we're gonna watch Dial of Destiny together.
Oh, dude, I just watched it again the other day. Yeah,
it's so
what
good.
a piece of shit on the small
There we
screen.
go.
I'll tell you that. I'm kidding.
There it
I
is.
loved it again. Dude, I
There we
love
go.
it. Ooh,
There it is.
Kel's just on it.
I
Thanks,
hate snakes, Kale. I hate them. Yeah, we should do
Snakes.
that.
Very dangerous. You go first.
You go first.
Whole other topic, but
I'll tell you, man. Give him hell, Indiana Jones and the taxi scene. Just I crack up every single time, man. What a great film! If you haven't seen Indiana Jones and the Pick of Destiny, you should do it
Pick of
ASAP.
Destiny. Shut up.
Because it's the
That
time
would have actually been a
of
very interesting
Destiny.
movie.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Pick of Destiny is wildly overrated. As
Oh my
as
God,
Ocean
I'm with
Eight.
you
Oh,
1,000,000% on
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
Not a good
Christ,
movie.
John.
Not a good movie at all.
It's a disappointment for sure.
Jack
It's
Black-
got like one good song.
Well, and
Sorry.
Jack Black, I just feel like he tries way
Sorry.
too hard. Like he's not funny. Like he just
I'm
is.
not going to go that far. You're wrong
Well,
there, but I mean,
Yes,
He's
yeah,
kinda
that's a little
funny.
far, John.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
it's not-
School of
Look.
Rock is literally the story of
Come
my
on,
life.
it's Jack Black, man.
Sure, that's a good movie.
You know,
Okay.
speaking of Kale's life, I want to tell you, everybody, Lines of Conviction has a new song out called Little Guy. And those lyrics, I've been going through some stuff lately. I won't get into it here. Some of you are aware. And man, that song came out. And I wake up in the morning scrolling through my phone. I see Lines of Conviction, Little Guy lyric video. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this. It's the first thing I heard when I woke up. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this song is talking to me. And I immediately emailed Kale, and I think everybody should check out Lines of Conviction because that song is just goddamn beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Dude, it
Check
is
it
what
out
it
then.
is, man. Right on.
Actually, being that we are on a Dream Theater podcast, did you notice that I may have accidentally ripped off Portnoy right at the start there?
I shall neither
That was in
confirm nor deny.
Go and listen to the opening fill. I worked this out the other day. Literally the first couple of bars of my drumming straight lifted from Spirit Carries On. I was like, whoops.
Eh,
Yeah, I'm sure you were like, whoops.
yeah.
You're like,
Influence
whoops, hope
corner.
nobody notices that. Oops.
Inspiration corner. That's
Whoops.
all.
Inspiration corner. Nice. Yep.
There you go. Right on, dude.
I mean, it literally was, but like the second I heard that back to back, it's like, might have stolen a thing there, and it kind of worked. So I'm just gonna go with it.
Wait, I just thought we have a whole bunch of wall lyrics. Oh, can I tell a very quick, very cool story about Mike Portnoy and the Wall?
Yeah.
I
Go
will.
for it.
Yes. So when they first announced that he was doing the Wall, Roger Waters, right? Couldn't get tickets. It was very expensive to go see the show. I live in the Philly area. So I was really disappointed, really wanted to go see it. And I went on his forum a lot at the time. If anybody remembers the Mike Portnoy forums.
Too
And
young for it.
so I think it was like a night or two before the show, one of the moderators posted and said, Mike had tickets, him and his wife were going to go to the show, but he was stuck in Europe on tour. Did anybody want the tickets? They would just be at face value. And I was like, absolutely. Me and my dad would go. I got the tickets.
Nice.
Dude,
Nice.
Yeah. We went to go
Nice.
see the show. It was amazing. I mean, the show was amazing. And there was even a little letter written, I think, by his wife or something in there, but I misplaced it over the years. It was just like have fun at the show or something. And it was really cool. Without it, I wouldn't have been able to go see the show. Me and my dad had a great time.
Where were your seats?
They were actually perfect seats because they weren't too close to where you couldn't see the whole production of the show, but they weren't far enough away that you missed like the intimacy of the show.
Right,
I mean, they
right,
really
right.
were like perfect.
Sick.
First night, I was right under the plane.
Yeah, that was so
I like
cool.
looked up. I'm like, oh shit,
That's so
plane,
cool.
man. Second night was a bit further back, but I got to get more of the show. I went to both nights at Izod up here in Northern Jersey.
Cool.
But dude, man,
It was a show.
I didn't get any. Oh
that was
yeah, I didn't get any of the intimacy that you did, but I got an exploding plane above my head that could have hurt a bunch of people,
Yeah.
which would have been made for a better show.
Is this the part where I say that I really can't stand Pink Floyd?
This is the part where we ignore you and keep talking about Pink Floyd.
I can tell you about another concert. I just went to see Tool
His
recently for
Astonishing
the
is a
first time.
better
It was
album
great.
than The Wall.
Oh God, Tool's another one. Oh, if
Yeah, they were fantastic. They were amazing.
You're a great band, bro. How
God,
do you-
they were so good.
Tool rocks.
all right, overrated. Overrated.
Without
Oh.
46 and 2, there would be no home.
That is very true.
That is
I
true.
mean,
That was actually
care.
the
Yeah.
encore that they played that night. That was
Ugh.
what they played, 46 and 2. Actually, most of the set list was there really wasn't a lot of hits. It was mostly Fear Inoculum. The newer album was like 5 or 6 songs off of that. Then they
And Rosetta
played
Stone.
Rosetta Stone they played, and then I think Intolerance, The Grudge. Well, I'm ruining it if anybody's going to see Tool. But they
Yeah,
do change up the
that's pretty
set
much
list,
it,
I
yeah.
think. But it was really good. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah,
The
it
visuals,
looked like a good
everything.
set this year.
I have a problem with Maynard with his stupid I'm gonna wear like riot gear and be in the back corner of the stage in the dark. Like, stop it.
I
I'm
liked it. It was
See,
a good
Yeah,
vibe.
well, no one really
I
wants
liked
to see
it.
his ugly mug, so
I cannot get into guys that are like weird for the sake of being weird. Like, it's like for example, like I sat through Dillinger Escape Plan on Gigantour, and everyone's like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, no, they're playing discordant chords. There's a reason it's called discordant, because it sounds like shit. You're not being original, you're writing crap. Okay, like it's not good. Like, stop.
I don't know. I think
okay,
he
but I'm going to
legitimately
go back
vibed
on
to
your
the
point
stuff.
there of weird for the sake of being weird. What if he is actually just weird?
It's just trying too hard. You don't wear riot gear on stage. You don't go sit in the back, hide from like, it's just dumb.
John, have you ever
James
just-
Keenan?
Just out of curiosity, have
drummer.
you ever seen him?
Huh?
Have you ever seen Tool live?
Oh, I can't stand Tool.
But have you ever seen them live?
No, I mean, I've seen videos, but I don't like the band. I don't like the music. It's not even
From
mean,
a
it's not-
vocalist perspective, even though he's not in the front of the stage, I will say he definitely gives a really good frontman performance for a person who's actually technically not at the front of the stage. You know, because he never leaves the stage during the instrumental parts. He's always kind of like, I don't know. It's a cool vibe. The way it goes with the whole show and everything. I really enjoyed it.
Of course he doesn't leave the stage. It's hard to move in that goddamn riot gear.
He wasn't wearing the riot gear.
I don't.
He was wearing like some vest or something. And a mohawk.
Yeah, it's just one of those bands, like all, and it's crazy because like all of my friends love that band, and I've tried listening. I'm like, dude, I don't get it. Like, I don't. I mean, Chastity Robert, like, are you guys into Tool at all? Like,
Justin Chancellor. That
I got
bass
people
live
that
sounds
are.
so good.
I know people that are super into them. I have a friend who's got the eye on her forearm, and when she's got white ink underneath it, so when she flexes, it looks like the eye moves.
That's pretty cool.
I'll give you a great band that does Tool better. Carnival.
Okay.
Carnival.
Okay.
There's a
Great
band we
band.
have.
Tool better than Tool.
Okay.
They're a
All right.
Perth band, so I stick by them because they're
I thought you were going to
Local
say like a
legends.
perfect circle or something.
That's what I thought I was going to say.
There's another one.
Circle is pretty great, but nah, Carnival all the way.
Yeah. All right. Chad Stevermer says, give Maynard a break. He has anxiety issues, and being in the back helps him manage that. Not everyone is an outgoing person. I don't have to give him credit for that. If it's like
people do not go in bands.
You
Yeah.
can give him the acknowledgement that that's why he does it. You don't have to like it, but you can give the you're like, okay, good, you gave me information. There you go.
Yeah. It's like, you know, when Kurt Cobain would bitch about being famous. Well, then don't put your music out. Like you made the choice. Like that's
Actually-
part of the deal. Like if you know.
Not only should outgoing people probably not be frontmen, but they also probably shouldn't do it 3 times over.
Well, and see, Kale, I think that's the thing. If like, okay, he's got anxiety, he wants to be in the back. Okay, fine. Like, okay, I get that. But like you just said, well, why do you keep doing it over and over and over and over?
Because it's an
that
outlet.
crippling-
It's an outlet, dude. It's an outlet.
Yeah.
I'm anxiety
pick one
ridden
and stick with it.
24/7. No, I get that, but like, so say it's kind of like you can go back to Portnoy on this. Like, there are things that he did with Transatlantic that he couldn't do with Dream Theater, which I kind of call bullshit on. Because if you listen to Octavarium, the song, there's a lot of Transatlantic vibe to it. Not trying to
very
start a
much
fight
so.
with Chastity. I'm just saying, like, musically,
I'm
there's
keeping
very...
I'm keeping
No,
my
no, I
promise
know.
to Brian.
No.
I'm being a good kid.
I mean, Brian's not on, so we
I
can just
love
talk about it.
Transatlantic.
now.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not saying you already
Yeah.
schooled me within 5 minutes. You're like, well, you know, the lyrics are kind of like, I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I mean, like, we're beyond this now. You were right, I was wrong. But but there's that whole thing where like he's outgoing, but like when I was doing Money for the Toll full time, I still wanted to do the acoustic thing, which is something I couldn't do with the heavy prog thing. So like it was something I could go out and do. And like, dude, my anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably somewhere around the 97, 98 on a good day. And getting on the stage, especially now that like Maynard can find this like this thing, this gimmick to go on stage with, where like people that don't know any better go, ooh, that's mysterious, and like they buy into that bullshit. Cool, like let them do it. But like it's sometimes it's just an outlet to like, hey, let me get these thoughts down, let me get this anxiety out in any way I can. And fortunately for him, he's got a forum where like he gets paid to do that. Lucky fuck.
Right.
And he's a great singer. I think he's
Well, okay.
a great singer.
And thank you for coming to my TED talk about mental health and accepting it.
And
Yeah.
here's my
I
soapbox.
appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna
Yes,
step down
yes,
now.
I'm going to step down now. Yes.
See, and
He's
JD
a weird
point.
dude. He sings some songs. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming to my TED talk.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, I will give like so the thing, like I may not like Tool, but I mean, he is a great singer. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously you got Danny Carey in that band, Adam Jones, like I mean, they're a great band talent wise all the way around. It's not my thing. They're one of those bands that's like hugely popular, and it's just not my thing. Like, you know, like I crapped on the Rolling Stones earlier. I'm like, I don't get it. And you know, Keith Richards, you know, sits there and talks crap about other guitar players. I'm like, dude, you're a hack. Like, what? You know, you're a hack. So shut the fuck up, man. It's like it's one of the reasons that I hate Bush is because Gavin Rossdale, I read years ago in Guitar World, he was crapping on all these really good guitar players. I'm like,
I remember
who
that.
the hell are you? Glycerine is nothing but power chords, man. I can play that, and I'm not good. Like, don't be making fun of other, you know.
I can vouch for both of those things.
Oh,
Nice. Nice. Oh my god.
With tons and tons of love and respect and admiration.
That's amazing.
I
Have you ever
love
heard
it.
of Steel
I love it.
Demons?
You were right in on the kill there too.
Yep. Hey, I deserve it. I deserve it.
No, you
Um,
don't. You don't. You don't.
No, it's dude. Look,
My
if
New
it-
Year's resolution is to not be a dick to you.
You've never been a dick to me, dude. There's a very big difference between busting balls and being a dick. You're not being hurtful. It's funny.
Oh, then I got to
Like,
try
this is-
harder. My New Year's resolution is to try harder and be a dick to you.
Discuss Metal Joe, my good buddy Joseph Friend says John plays bass. That's the joke. I play
That's
bass
the
guitar,
joke.
drums. I play bass guitar, drums, piano, and I sing. I'm multi-instrumental. I'm just not that great at any of it.
Are you a jack of all
You do
trades?
one
Trades
more than
master
I
of
can.
none.
Exactly.
You do
I mean,
one more than I can.
Dude, it's yeah. See, Doug McCauley, he's right. He says Keith Richards doesn't even know the 3 chords he knows. Yeah. Yeah. Look,
Oh, I'm so grateful. I didn't have water in my mouth.
Chad Stevermer. Chad Stevermer's like gonna hate me because he's been against every take of mine all night long. He says Keith Richards is not a hack guitar player. What the fuck? He's one of the best rhythm guitar players ever. Written some of the most iconic riffs in history. I don't care. He's not a good player. I can name 100+ players that are better than him. And you're a dick if you start calling people out and saying they suck when you can't do what they can do. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking
I can do
shut
that.
up.
Jay, you should say that out loud.
Do it.
DJ Khaled better guitarist than Keith Richards?
Nice.
Maybe.
No.
Have you ever
No.
seen the video?
Yeah.
It's just
no.
not. It's not
Yeah.
great, man. It's,
I saw the
gets the
Stones live a
guitarist from
few
Bob
years ago.
Marley.
It's awesome. Oh God, yeah.
It's like one of my favorite videos.
yeah. No. He's just. I will die on that soapbox. I'm like, dude, you're not great. Now, I mean, and Chad, it's kind of like talking about Jimmy Page. Like, is Jimmy Page one of the greatest songwriters and rhythm guitar players ever? Yeah. Is he one of the sloppiest lead guitar players you've ever heard? Hell yeah.
No.
But it works.
Kale's gonna
Slash.
bite John.
What? What about Slash? What?
Is Jimmy Page one of the sloppiest lead guitar players ever known? No. Slash.
If you think Slash is sloppier than Jimmy Page, you and I might have to end our friendship.
Dude,
Because
he
that
kind of is, man. Do you ever watch a live show from 1991?
Okay, dude, he was guzzling like a gallon of vodka every day.
We're not asking about the why. We're asking about the
Reasonable
end
better.
result.
Unlike
Well,
Maynard James Keenan.
He doesn't care about the why for Tool, but he cares
Right.
about the why
Right. Oh, let's defend
No,
the guy
no,
that I
exactly.
like. Oh no, I like this guy. Let's defend him.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay, look.
drinking.
Dude, look,
for. Where's the
Yep.
bear? I just
Nah.
want to poke it.
Gotcha
Well,
on that one.
because I've seen Slash a whole bunch of times on his solo stuff the last several years. Steph, like Eddie Van Halen for me, Slash, that's my wife, Steph. That's her dude, and he's awesome. And it's
Nobody is saying that he's not awesome.
No one's saying he's bad. I'm just saying that he is sloppy, and I think it's intentional.
he's not sloppier than Jimmy Page. No chance in hell. No,
Yeah.
you guys
You
are
gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta watch some
Yeah.
of those shows from the Illusions tour, bro. I'm
How
telling
many
you,
It doesn't
man.
matter.
Like
It does
notes of
because it's
eh.
there. It's right there on film. The audio is there. You can hear it. How does
It's-
it not matter? Because
He's-
it's a guy that
because
you
he's-
like.
No,
Don't
because
be
he's not
bringing
as sloppy
evidence
as Jimmy
into this.
Page.
Look,
Jay,
Saul,
no
Jay,
evidence.
right? No,
Saul
dude.
will forgive you.
Don't be
Saul
bringing
will
facts.
forgive you.
Oh, yeah. Doug McCauley says Jimmy Page is a one-take wonder. He gets worse the more takes he does. Yeah, dude, Sean. Slash is a tighter lead player than Jimmy Page. It's fact. Even back in Jimmy Page's heyday in the 70s, he was sloppy as shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was.
Heartbreaker, Living Loving Made, that solo in the middle was like what the heck, like he's got feel and stuff, but it's like the slop takes away from it because you notice the slop.
Dude,
you
should quote that. The slop takes away from it.
If you didn't know what
The slop
guitarist you were
takes away
talking
from it.
about, and you
That
said
is-
somebody,
notice
That
it.
really sounds like
Jimmy Page.
that's the tagline for Two Girls, One Cup right there.
Oh,
Slop takes
Oh.
away from it.
Oh my god, dude.
that okay. That
You've just completely derailed this with that
Well, I
one
totally went
reference.
off the rails. Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about John's opinions. And how they're
Wait, I gotta say one more thing about Tool.
Oh,
very
sure.
important. So the opener for Tool, there was a band. So I asked my friend who's a massive Tool fan. She was the one who wanted me to go with her originally because I like Tool, but I had never seen them live. And I was like, "Oh, who's the opener?" And she's like, "Oh, it's this like one man act or something, Steel Beans." And I was like thinking, "Oh, okay, an acoustic guitarist or keyboardist or something." This guy plays the drums, the guitar, and sings all at the same time. And he has a keyboard set up right on like the drums too. It is the
Does he
wildest
have like
thing
a
I've
Rick
ever
Allen
seen.
rig, or how's he doing that?
So I was trying to figure it out, and I think the way he's kind of doing it is his one hand he's using to hit the drums. He's strumming with like his middle finger while he's holding the drumstick like this. I'm not sure exactly. I tried to get a better look on like a pro shot video, but he opened.
Every part of that just sounds painful.
Oh yeah, it was very impressive. Like watching the whole thing, I was like, I don't know how this guy's actually doing this, but there is actually some pro shot footage where I think he opened up for Tenacious D. So he's kind of like, he's got a name out there, I guess.
his music's okay. I mean, it's not, it was more impressive than it was that I liked the music. It kind of sounded, the music itself sounded kind of dated, like 70s dated, not in a good way.
Oh,
But it was
man,
impressive.
What else are you going to be able to do with one finger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the issue, is he's really just very limited by what he can do. But the fact that he could play a whole set and it sounded really good. He didn't really make any mistakes at all. Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
All right.
Slips.
Steel beans.
John will hate it.
Hey, you know what? We love to hate stuff.
Look.
Here,
okay.
we'll give you something John will like. We
Oh,
were
boy.
going through. We're listening to. Hey, we were listening to the whole catalog and getting all into it. My husband goes, "I found my favorite album, and I found my favorite song
Okay.
of 20 hours. Falling into Infinity, Annalie."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He's like,
You
you
know,
have to
John
tell
fan
him at the
badges.
hangout. You have to tell him at the hangout. Because
Such an underrated song.
Hell yeah.
It's all right. It's
he's
all
like,
right.
this is my favorite song out of, and this was before I had counted the Majesty demos into their catalog. He goes, 18 hours. This is my favorite song. And I was like, I
John.
will tell John.
I
It
have
doesn't
to
fit.
ask you, like, are you serious? Do you, with the falling into infinity thing, are you serious? Like, you not me? Do you like really jam out to that thing? Is that something you jam out to in your car?
What, Falling into Infinity?
No, well, specifically you not me.
Oh, that song's cool, dude. I love the whole record because for
Okay.
me,
I respect it.
Falling into Infinity to me is like it's a Dream Theater record, but it's got a jam-ish, loose-ish kind of feel to it. You know what I mean?
I like a lot of stuff on it. I think there is a combination of the double disc with the demos that I think is better than the end result that ended up on
You or Me is
CD.
much better than You Not Me.
Correct.
I mean, I would have just gotten rid of that song altogether and put maybe
I need
Raise
some
the Knife or,
pencils.
nice reference.
Delayed reaction.
It
He goes,
took,
"Wait."
Yeah.
it took me a second. Yeah, Raise the Knife, but then maybe I mean they were really trying to, I guess, push that, more radio friendly kind of thing at that time. But the production on that record is, I think, the best on any Dream Theater album.
Thank
Hell
you.
yes.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
gotta be honest. My favorite song didn't make the album.
Oh, what is it?
Way it used to be.
love
Oh
the song.
man,
I love that song.
that's
Friggin' love that
that's on the
song.
Hollow Years CD single.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chad
it's a
Stever.
great song.
Oh,
Chad
hell
Stevermer
yeah.
says the demos from Falling into Infinity are way better than was actually released.
Depends on the song. Depends on the
Okay,
song.
hang on.
Guys,
one second. I'm just gonna be in the background here.
I'm going to disagree. Like, I mean, I can hear why they're demos and why they weren't on the record. Like,
No,
I
stop.
just-
Here we go.
Stop. You're making Falling into Infinity a double album. This is what we're doing. Look at it like this, John. There's no like, oh, we're taking this off the album. You or Me is better than You Not Me. And then Burning My Soul, Hell's Kitchen, Lines in the Sand, way better album version. But just it's okay. And Hollow Years the album version's better.
I've
But
actually got something you might like to see, John.
Okay.
Let's see it.
yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
look at that. Cool.
Oh, look at
Thank
that.
by
cool.
Serini and
It's signed by Dave Mustaine.
pretty much is the exact same signature, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
But it's the Japanese one, so I've also got the Burning My Soul with Hell's Kitchen Live and Killing Hand from that tour as well.
Oh,
so-
that's the 5-song version.
They
yeah,
played,
the 5-song version.
they played Killing Hand on the Falling into Infinity tour. No
Uh,
shit.
no, it's like the Christmas break before it.
Yeah, they did that on the Fix for '96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's actually a
okay.
great bootleg. If you've never
Yeah,
Great
that
bootleg.
Birch Hill show. I was at that show. John, have you been to any recorded Dream Theater shows?
I'm not doing
Actually,
it,
didn't
goddamn you.
they just bring that one
Look
out?
at Robert.
on
He's
the,
just,
I'm
Robert's
waiting.
just like,
Hey, it's been.
I've
like,
been to
like
score,
2.5
baby. I've been to
There
score.
we
There we
go. Drink
You
out
know where
there.
I was
and
at?
drinking into infinity.
Only 2.5
All right.
hours
Oh
into
shit!
this.
Hi, Joe.
I was at
Joseph
Frog
Wren.
Hi,
Nation
everybody.
2009.
Love it.
You were at the what?
The recorded version for Prague Nation 2009 with Repentance that they played. I
Oh,
was
at Terminal
God.
5?
at
You're gonna-
Terminal
oh,
5.
Yeah, I was almost there, but yeah.
Okay, so you were there. Okay, may I ask the question? What the hell is the Dark Nintendo Night all about?
It's amazing.
That's great. Yeah.
Oh my god,
I don't know.
I
It was
completely forgot about that. Dark
The what?
Nintendo Night is the bomb.
yeah.
Have you guys all
Was-
seen Dark Nintendo Night?
Was that like the encore break or what?
Oh, dude.
What even is that all meant to be?
Dude, Robert, you have to look up the Dark Nintendo Night. It's like the Dark Eternal Night, but done to like Mario music and stuff. Oh my god, it's amazing.
That's the kind of stuff. I
It
mean,
is
not
pretty
to
cool.
knock on Mangini, but that's the kind of stuff I really loved to import when I was in the band. That they
I-
did all the
I
time.
will completely agree with you on that.
You know, it's not against Mangini.
Sean.
It's just
Love
something.
you,
It's
dude.
not something he did wrong. It's just
Later,
something
Sean, man.
that Portnoy.
Take care, guys.
See you, Sean.
Peace.
See you,
Love you
Sean.
guys. Happy Merry Christmas.
Merry happy Christmas Kwanzaa.
Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa.
I put it in the chat so you could
No,
read
I know,
it.
but now I got to scroll up. Let me find this. Hold on. Merry happy Christmas Kwanzaa High School
Even reading it didn't help.
Kwanzaa.
Even
Adding
reading
new
it
holidays
didn't
in
help him.
there.
Well, anyway,
All right,
much
take
love
two. Ready?
and have a good one.
I love you, brother.
You too.
Yeah,
And
Hope
see
you
you,
feel,
dude.
hope you feel better, dude.
Thank
Love,
you.
dude.
Thank you.
All right, so back on topic.
What was the topic?
Dark
Oh, the
Nintendo Night.
I was like, wait, there's a topic?
Yeah.
That's what I was
Just-
thinking. I was like, which one?
Oh, where was I?
Yeah.
John, I'm listening to it now. This thing slams.
Dude, it's amazing,
is.
isn't it?
Lost it at the
Yeah, it was
Watson.
cool.
Where was I?
Oh, it's so good.
They
Robert,
did it
it's so
during the
good.
intermission.
Yeah. Oh, it was. And the graphics, like with the where they did the graphics with it too. Oh, it was so damn good. So damn good. All right, so Joe, you jumped
yeah.
on to get my
There's
back
graphics.
on something.
Absolutely. I felt bad that everybody was attacking your opinion about rhythm guitarists and talking shit about technically superior players. So I just had to show up with a cocktail in case you said score.
I'm almost at the refill point myself. I'm surprised. It's 2.5 hours in, and I finally need a refill.
Did you know we're 2 years off the 40th anniversary, so maybe they'll do score 2?
I would be there. I would be there.
That would be astonishing.
Is that another drink?
We're gonna do that. Oh my gosh.
I think that's because it's future tense. It doesn't count for the shots.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
fair.
I was
Does that mean he owes us a shot then?
Yes, if you go, you owe us a shot.
I can do that. I was supposed to be at an Anthrax live taping too, and they changed it like really soon before we went. It was in Chicago. It was with the when they first reunited with Joey Belladonna, and it was at the Chicago House of Blues. And AJ and I, my brother, went, and we're like, hell yeah, dude, we're gonna be like, you know, on camera and stuff, because we were, you know, we got right up front and everything, and it was. And a couple days before, they added another tour date, and they're like, "Yeah, we're actually going to film it in Sayreville, New Jersey." I was like, "Damn it!"
I
So
don't think that footage ever came out though.
no, it did. It did. Yeah, it's the live it's what the hell is it called? I don't know if it's called a live something like that, but yeah, it did come out. It was like the early 2000s, and it's probably a good thing too, because he and I got really drunk. Like we were at our hotel, and we had, I think, 151, and you know, we were like, all right, let's save money, and we'll just buy one bottle, make it strong. And oh god, we were pretty well off. Like, I was up front, and I started getting a headache. I was like, oh, this ain't good. But thankfully, I brought some aspirin. Was eating aspirin up in the front row. Like, okay, cool. But yeah, so I was almost at another live taping. So there you go. Oh no. What button, Jay? What button am I pressing?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was asking if I can press the share button.
Oh, Joe, if you
Oh, that
dude,
you can definitely do.
yeah. What are we sharing?
Oh, don't worry. It won't get you banned from YouTube.
Yeah, please don't.
Uh-oh.
Immediately.
Yeah,
He's just gonna get us
demonetized.
taken down like our Serenity watch along.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Although that was pretty
It won't be
solid.
a headline.
All right, we
That
doing
was
this.
a good
Oh, there we go.
episode. No one saw it.
Here
There
we
it
go.
is.
Oh, okay. It turns into Portnoy.
You got to get the audio going.
Oh, you want
There's
me
no
to
audio.
crank it up? You
Crank
sure?
it.
Heck yeah.
Okay, you asked for it.
Very yum. Up. Out of the blackness, chaos. The last of the prophets, sinister. Sleeping monstrous sight.
This is so good, man. I love
have
it.
never seen this before.
Dude, spoiler alert, at the end, when they find James, he goes, whoa, whoa. That's the best. You notice how like all the tubes are drums?
Drum heads. Yeah.
I did not.
You got Jordan's throwing all the yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they are.
This is just brilliant.
Mashups are
Who
fun
came up
sometimes.
with this?
We're all just like,
This was actually done by, I think his name was Blob Van Dam or something. He was the guy on the Mike Fortnite. I remember when he did this.
Dude, the best was like the audio stop, but like when he was doing all the coins, that was the dead, like. Oh my god, it's
Oh,
so
John,
good.
I had to kill the audio because if we just do straight Mario, you're gonna get kicked.
Right. Oh my god,
We're gonna
yeah,
have a cease this from Dream Theater and Nintendo.
I don't know.
And
I think,
YouTube.
I think Dream Theater would like us playing that. That's kick ass, man. I'm with you guys. I think that's something that I think it'll be cool if they can bring those sorts of things back. You know, like
Yeah.
you
Okay,
know,
hopefully they do Octavarium then, just so I can see that maze animation.
Yes.
I wonder if they can get the actual artist back that did the Dark Eternal Night and Octavarium. That'd be cool to like revisit that actual style. That'd be pretty badass.
You mean Hugh Sign?
No. That he did the cover art, but the guy who actually like
The animation artist.
the animation artist.
Gotcha.
Yep, Doug McCauley says, "Oh, it's Dream Theater and 8-bit, not in 8-bit." Yeah, it's a combination. It's really really cool. Chad Steve Ermer, someone had too much time on their hands. Yeah, but it is all to our benefit, Chad. Like that.
We're Dream Theater fans. What else were we going to do?
I mean, it's what fans do, right? Back in the day when my brother decided he wanted to make custom Wolfenstein 3D maps, I said, well, what's going to be the background music? He wanted Korn. I'm like, well, that's going to take a while, but I'll get my MIDI going.
if it doesn't exist, we will make it.
Yes.
And if you tell us to cease and desist,
Then we
it
just
will end
won't
up on
sell it.
archive.org.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we'll just keep it for ourselves, like my hoodie or my fleece blanket that I'm making myself.
That's when we start the bootleg trade.
Oh, no.
Yes. And you know what? Here's another thing that I hope they bring back. I don't want to like love the band, love them to death. I have not been overly impressed with the merchandise selections on the last two tours. Like there's less on the website. Like there's not
Wasn't
a lot
there, didn't get to see it.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Can we just address that real quick, Kale? Every goddamn Dream Theater post I see on Facebook, your comment pops up and it's like, hey, when you come into Australia? I'm like, Kale, they're not reading it. It's not happening. Stop it.
Not every post.
It is every post.
Every other.
It is every post. You poor bastard.
It's every now and then.
It
I
costs
thought
too much.
They played there on the Black Clouds tour. You know, that very, very short tour.
Yeah, right.
Like extremely short.
After
That was
after
actually
Systematic
when I
Chaos,
was
I'm not
pretty
surprised I don't
confident.
come here anymore.
I was pretty confident something was going to happen in the band. Either Portnoy was going to leave or the band was going to break up or something, because Black Clouds charted at number 6 on the Billboard and they basically didn't even tour it. So I
That-
was pretty certain there was something up.
How weird was that? Like, I mean, Brian and I saw them. It was in July of 2010, because we were here in Cleveland. We were dealing with the whole LeBron James is he going to stay in Cleveland thing, and we were watching news about it at a bar down in Columbus, because we were. It was like one of only 4 headliners they did that year. It was a place called the Newport in Columbus, Ohio, and I was so shocked. I was like, they didn't do a proper headliner for that record. And, Rich Wilson mentioned it in, Lifting Shadows, that incredible biography that he wrote. The band was like at an all-time high in terms of popularity. Like they were opening for Iron Maiden, playing all these big venues and stuff. And it's like, man, oh man. Like it just like, it sucked that it had to end when it did with Portnoy, because they were, getting to that whole nother level. And it's just what awful timing. Talk about popping the balloon, man. Like I'll never forget going to see the band on the Dramatic Turn tour here in Cleveland. And number one, when they started, I was like, wait a minute, it's still daylight out. Like, what? Wait, are they going on? And like, there's a whole bunch of people like getting food or merch. And all of a sudden, like, we hear the intro tape and all these people start bum rushing. There's like, shit, dude, I didn't think they'd be starting this early. And then I was looking around and it was only like 2/3 full. And I was like, I can't even believe this. Like, new album, new drummer. Like, wow, okay. And to the point, I've told the story on the show, but like, when they were doing their final bow, James grabbed the mic before he walked off stage and said, hey, next time, tell your friends. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
John, I remember you telling that story the first time. The first time you
a
told
bit
me that
snarky
story,
sometimes.
and I just kept asking myself, when did it turn around? When did the band start to see the turnout again? Because when you say Dream Theater to me, it doesn't matter what year it is. I'm expecting that building to be full.
Yeah,
I know they definitely didn't do well in Australia on the Black Clouds tour, because they did 2 nights at Palais in St Kilda, and they ended up selling second night tickets for like half price if you were there for night 1, because it wasn't selling.
But wasn't it a big venue? Because I remember seeing like the bootleg or something from it. It's on YouTube. It's like, it was actually a pretty big venue.
Palais is not
for Dream Theater.
Huge. It's pretty big, but it's not huge.
I guess some countries are different when it comes to Dream Theater. That they, like the Chile concert, the infamous 50,000 people concert.
How weird is that, do you think, for the band themselves? Like, can you imagine being in a band? Like, Joe, you've played live. Like, I know, Kale, you do. Jay, I don't know if, like, are you in a band? Like, I know you got a guitar there.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not in a band.
But, like, how weird must that be to go from, let's say you have that Chili show, 50,000 people, and then you'll go to another, like, run of dates where you have, like, 1,000. And it's just like, to keep the one thing that I've always given them so much credit for is that the shows, the energy has never changed. It's like, you can't tell that they're just going through the motions, even when because I've been at some shows on tours where they had just come from playing overseas to like, 15,000 people. And then I'm there in front of like 1,500. Like, it's got to be weird to go from that high to this, like, excuse me, where is everybody? Like,
it's a goal that, as an independent musician, it's a goal to fill the room. You don't know until you do it the first time. You want to be able to not see the floor when you look out on the crowd. And to be a band as big as Dream Theater is, and to have that record label backing and have that huge fan base, especially in other countries, to where you see some of those classic DVDs and everybody's into it 100%, to come back to, well, we came around for a tour on a new album, and where is everybody? That's got to be the most discouraging thing ever, because that's discouraging.
Tour did not do well.
Yeah, it's discouraging even for me or for anybody that plays music. To once you achieve that goal of filling the room, then you start to think about, how can I fill bigger rooms?
Yeah.
But when those rooms start to become empty again, man, you want to just hang it up. You want to quit, or you want to find out, like, what am I doing wrong? Has Dream Theater really changed the shtick? I mean, they're writing these big, epic albums with songs that go on for an entire side of the record. But they've done that. That's what they wanted to build towards. It's not Pull Me Under anymore. As much as we love those first few albums, it is about the larger composition and the orchestration. But they still sell it as like this big progressive thing, or at least that's the fan perception. So it's got to be discouraging. It's got to be terrifying to say, well, I guess we're going out to jam again because nobody's here.
Yeah. And to your point, Jay, like, I mean, did you you saw the Dream Sonic tour? I'm assuming, Jay.
I did. They, what you're saying about it, them being really energetic. I would say that about pretty much every show I've been to since 2007. They looked pretty exhausted on that Dream Sonic tour. At least when I saw them, it was in Philly, and I think John Mayung had fallen, and James was kind of having a really rough night. I don't know. Mangini really didn't. It was a weird show. I don't know.
That is what I got to. I mean, Chastity and Robert, did you guys see it? Did you guys see Dream Sonic?
Yeah, I saw the one in Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah,
I saw Devin Townsend.
Nice.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
I
Dev
was
rocks.
moving during Dream Sonic, so no.
Yeah, I went to the July 9th show in Newport, Kentucky, and I remember looking at the ticket sales, and they had sold like maybe 20% of the place, and I was like, oh God, what am I walking into? When I got there, it was like mostly packed. So I was like, all right, that's cool. But yeah, Jay, I noticed the same thing you did, and I said this on the show, like I'm wondering when they made the Portnoy decision, because every other show I had seen with Mangini, he was energetic, he was like,
yes,
up for it and everything.
Yes.
This one to me, he looked like he was, counting the songs before he got off stage. I was like, man, that's weird. That doesn't look right.
They had already talked to him about it, guaranteed.
That's what Joe, I think the same thing. Like, hey, finish out the tour. Here's what we're going to do. Like, because it did not feel right at all. I'm with you. Like, and the set list was cool. And, I mean, but yeah, something with Mangini was just off on this last run.
I mean, he played fine. I mean, he did a great job. There was nothing against his performance. It's just when I think of a lot of the shows that I've seen with Mangini, especially the Along for the Ride tour, he was like, especially Shattered Fortress, he's like, he's like
Yes.
going all in.
Yep.
And then during the Dream Sonic tour, I remember watching the show and really noticing it, I remember the thing with John Mayon. I knew James, that set list I think was a little bit too ambitious for where he is at his stage in his career. I think that was a bit unfair towards him to expect him to sing that set list. But then Mangini, I remember the entire show thinking like, he just kind of looks like, I don't know, maybe it's just an off night or something. But, I mean, you said the same thing. So, and then what ended up happening with Portnoy. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it did end up happening a little bit earlier, that they let him know, maybe discuss the possibility of it. It's possible.
I have a feeling it probably got brought up at the end of last year, because if you go back to early shows when they were still doing View from the World 2023, Petrucci's already singing. They've knocked off a hell of a lot of the backing vocals at the leg early this year, and it's Petrucci actually singing the backups.
I think they did that because of the Bridges in the Sky controversy.
Yeah, but it's kind of convenient timing, isn't it?
I think
Petrucci's actually bringing it out again, and then you find out Portnoy's coming back, so he's kind of gotta.
Yeah,
I agree. I think they knew before, because there was a couple different things I saw where I think Mangini slipped a little bit and unofficially announced he was leaving, because you look at when Petrucci does stuff, John Petrucci, guitarist, Dream Theater, Grammy winner. And there was a couple that Mangini did where it's name, drummer, no band, Grammy winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Portnoy's making things of, thank you for supporting in everything I've done, everything I did. He wasn't talking about current with Winery Dogs or current with anything. It was, thank you for supporting me, for your support, what you supported me doing. Like, everything was past tense. But the thing that kicked it was, like, looking back, I was like, okay, like connecting all the pieces after Portnoy was announced to coming back. I was like, Mangini slipped a little bit, because there was a couple times where it was on there where he was claiming Grammy winner still, because yes, he is.
Yeah.
But he wasn't claiming Dream Theater anymore. So yeah, there was definitely discussion.
And
There
if
had
you
to
go
have
back
been.
and watch the episode he did here, what's the one? What are the couple of names he never said?
Anything Dream Theater related. That was
Petrucci, Rudis, Mayung, Dream
Yeah.
Theater.
yeah. And that's the thing
Never
is, it's
brought
like,
up.
and you know, we mentioned this on the episode we did when the news broke, that you know, the publicist, when we got the interview, said no Dream Theater questions. We're like, okay. And that's not uncommon when somebody does a solo release. I mean, Joe, you would know this. I mean, you've done like a couple hundred episodes of Discography Discussion, which is a fucking great show for those guys who haven't seen it.
We're getting 16 out from 300, John. I need your help on that. Kale, I'm signing you up too.
There you go,
How
Kale.
you going with your Voyager?
There it is. But you know, we're like, okay, fine. And then when, you know, Aiken had emailed back and said, yeah, we'll probably just at the end, like, the obligatory Dream Theater question, the publicist was like, no, absolutely nothing about Dream Theater. And we were both like, now, okay, now wait a minute, that's not normal. So that was when we really I started thinking about it, and you know, that directive combined with, you know, having seen how Mangini was on the tour, I was like, something's going on, man. Like, that's just not.
It was only a couple of weeks before, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't even a week.
Yeah, from the Mangini, from the 19th of October, it was announced on the 23rd of October.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was like, because we did our interview on a Thursday, and I want to say it was like a Tuesday when they announced it.
Yeah, because we had the Octagon after Mangini on the 19th, and then
yeah, that's right. I mean, we literally released Open Hearts that day, and it was like, yeah, it was 3 days after that.
So, Robert, I mean, when you saw the Cleveland show, did you get a vibe that something was a little off? Like, how did you feel when you saw it?
I didn't get that vibe. I mean, probably because the way I was seating, I was kind of like in the general public, like general admission back in, I forget where the venue was actually, like down by the river, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. God, which one?
So,
oh yeah, that was at Nautica. Okay.
Yeah, Nautica.
Yeah. Okay.
At Jacob's Pavilion. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I didn't really notice anything off, particularly with Mangini. I mean, everything sounded well. Like, James is gonna be James live. You know, that's kind of a, you know, give or take. But other than that, it just sounded like just Dream Theater playing.
Okay. I mean, Joe, I don't know if like, have you seen Dream Theater live? Or I know you like you enjoy the band, but I don't think you and I've ever talked about whether or not you've actually gone to see them. I mean,
the only time I've been able to see them live was the Progressive Nation tour, where they had Between the Buried and Me, and they had 3 and Opeth. It was in Chicago. It was a pretty badass show, and that building was full. It was an auditorium, not even a theater like you think of a smaller theater where the stage is at the front, same place you'd see a play. But this was in like an auditorium where a concert or a symphony would have been, and it was really, really cool. It was still absolutely it was still my favorite intro that I've ever seen them do. Was the 2001 intro.
Oh, dude, thank you. Zarathustra, whatever the hell.
A minute ago, you said, "What are you looking forward to?" Hopefully, they do this again. My brain just kept saying 2001. Like,
yes,
let that be your intro. If Metallica can have Ecstasy of Gold, you guys can have 2001. That's fine.
Do that.
The one thing that stood out with Dream Theater compared to the other bands was this was Progressive Nation, right? So these are bands that are known for playing more complex material improvisation, embellishing, but still being able to do it very tight every single time. And Dream Theater was the only band that really jammed, like to the point where it wasn't as enjoyable as what Opeth did an hour ago. But that didn't bother me because it's Dream Theater. It's live. I want them to improvise. I want them to do something a little bit off the beaten path because they're supposed to be the bar of progressive metal. They're supposed to be setting the trend of what is not standard rock and standard metal. And to listen as these newer albums come out, it's a little frustrating because I've never seen Dream Theater on tape. I've never seen them live where every single person in the band was not 100% engaged with each other. And some of the videos I've seen and what you're talking about, yeah, it looks like dude got some bad news. And how frustrating is that to be brought in, at least the perception of the drummer finding process was, no, we're looking for the next member of our band. It took me back to Seven Dust when Clint Lowry left for the first time and they hired Sonny from Snot fame to be their second guy. And I mean, Morgan talked about that on the episode of Discography Discussion. Like, yeah, I wish I'd handled that differently because when Clint said he wanted to come back, we said, thanks, Sonny, sorry, bye. Like,
thank you for trusting me with the second half of your careers and your lives
and paying your bills. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but the perception I had was we're looking for the next member of our band. Now, let's assume that's what it was. Is the conversation then, look, we talked to Mike, he wants to come back, how do you feel about that? Or was it, we're going to give you like a year to find another job and then we're going to bring back the original? Because the fans are always going to want the original. Mike Mangini's a beast. He's one of the most powerful drummers that you will ever see, period. He's one of the most powerful drummers that you will see live. How does that does that go down? Like,
well, and especially considering, like you just said, Cale, like, he said, thank you for trusting me with the second half of your careers. Like, his famous quote during, when he gets the call saying he's in the band, and the band, they were very adamant. Like, no, this is our drummer in perpetuity. There's Portnoy and now there's going to be Mangini till we're done. Like, and to have to reverse course on that is,
I just want to clarify. So on the Dream Theater forums, there was like a post where they had said, were you more surprised when Portnoy left the band or when he returned from the band? And I think most people were surprised when he left the band. I was more surprised that he returned to the band because, like I said earlier, with the whole thing with the tour, and there was like kind of public friction between James and Mike Portnoy, and they were cutting down on the shows, the tour. Then he played with Avenged Sevenfold and recorded with them, and it just seemed like everything there, like something was going on there. But they were so adamant so many times, like, no, this is the final incarnation of Dream Theater. Yes, we're playing with Mike Portnoy on Liquid Tension Experiment. Yes, we're doing it on Petrucci's solo record, but he's not coming back. Mangini's the permanent member. And then it happened. So to me, that was actually more shocking.
For me, it wasn't. I was shocked when Portnoy left. I mean, now hearing the stories that have been told since, and how basically, I mean, the band was sick and tired of him just being under his thumb, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Like, I get it. That was pretty surprising. I was like, because these guys are riding high. Even going into an era of music when records didn't sell anymore, they were still selling a good amount of records. So that to me was a shock because, and I think it was more shocking for me because he's the guy that started the whole damn thing. So, I mean, how many times do you see like the founding member be like, all right, see you guys, I'm out. Like, that doesn't really happen. It's like, it doesn't. But when he came back, I'm like, okay, To me, I thought it was inevitable. I mean, the guy was just too damn popular, and so many fans were clamoring for it. I was like, eventually, this is just all the noise is going to drown out all logic and everything, and they're going to get him back. Like, it always felt, it felt inevitable to me.
And he was kind of slowly starting to have a presence within the band again, as it was.
Well,
because there was always the posts about him. Oh, I saw Mike Portnoy at the show last night, and then there was the whole backstage thing from one of the New York shows.
Well, and then
you got the post from Melody when they went to him.
Of time.
Yeah.
Nick, now you've got me thinking,
like,
Kale,
here's some of my stuff from my personal archive for your lost, not forgotten archives.
I was just going to go there, Kale. Like when I found out he was helping with the lost, not forgotten archives, I was like, he's getting too close to the band again. Like, this is,
like, he's always going to stay friends with Petrucci and My Young because you go back to the 80s. But yeah, there was more than just putting a toe in the water. Like, he was starting to go, let's think about waiting a little bit before we dive right in. Like, he was, yeah, because there's more than being friends and, hey, I need you to write down play this track until we can get it recorded. Or I need you to lay this down and, give me just this beat so I can get it recorded the right way. And I know you can do it. It became more of a consistent thing.
Well, and I think for me, what kind of really got the wheels churning for me, man, was when Mike went on tour with John for his solo tour. I saw that show, and that was, I've said this on the show before, like, that was when I really saw that there was a chemistry there. I'm like, okay, now I understand why people say, oh, Portnoy's different from Mangini. I was like, okay, there is that chemistry there. Like, there's just a feel there to it that's unique to the two of them. And I thought back to when they hired Jordan and they were talking about writing the Liquid Tension Experiment records, and they were like, dude, there was just this vibe, there was just this feel to it. And I thought, this has got to be for them where they're going, God, what are we doing? Like, we're not getting any younger. Like, this is where we both belong. Like, we belong on stage together. Like, I really started thinking about it after seeing that solo show of John Petrucci's.
Yeah,
so
I didn't see it at tour, so that makes sense.
Dude, I'm gonna give you some shit, Jay. You really missed it. Like, it was that.
Yeah,
that is one of the best concerts I've ever seen. It was ungoddamn believable. And I think one of the things that people are going to notice about Portnoy when he's back in the band now, like we back in the day when he was in the band, we knew he was kind of, the de facto front man. People always like to watch him. He's very energetic, man. At that Petrucci solo show, I could not stop watching him. Like, he has grown into being an actual front man, even though he's still, quote unquote, just the drummer. Like, I kept telling myself, like, God damn, you watch Petrucci, you idiot. That's what you're here for. And I could not take my eyes off of Mike Portnoy. I was like, oh my God, this guy has a magnetism to him that is just, you can't turn away. And I think it's stronger than it was in Dream Theater. So him being that guy now, I think people are really going to see this and be like, oh my God. Like, and that's why I have a really hard time believing this whole, we're going to do one album, one live album, and then we're out. Like, I think the new record's going to be extremely well received. I think it's going to be extremely high quality, first of all. It's going to be so popular. They're going to go, we just can't do one record. Like, as much as I hate to say this, because I never want to think that Dream Theater is like a money band. They're gonna be like, dude, we're gonna make a shitload of money if we go and do this again.
Yeah.
Like, why are they gonna stop?
Oh, the numbers are gonna speak for themselves in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Portnoy love never left, and now that we have that chance to come back. Like, case in point, my dog's middle name, like that, the love never left. Like,
right.
The thing is, you never know. Hi, doggy. You never know really what's going on behind the scenes where, maybe
John
Petrucci's got like arthritis, or John Mayong's got arthritis, like Alex Lifeson had arthritis, or
Excellent point.
somebody's dealing with something that they're not going to talk about until, probably the band's over with, but it's something internally they've talked about and said, okay, we have this time frame because this is bothering me. Or there's a bunch of things that happen when you get older, things happen. They're in their everybody's in their 60s, right? No,
Rudis was
Getting
born
close
in
if they're not.
57.
Yeah,
Petrucci was 65, so and they're all
Yeah,
right.
so damn near.
so they're in their late 50s, and then James, I think, turned 60, and Rudis is the oldest one.
Yep,
Yeah.
Rudis was born in 57.
Okay.
Well, I
That's
think
knowledge that no one outside of us will ever find necessary.
right?
Or will ever care about.
Yeah, I
remember my sister's birthday because she shares it with Petrucci.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
I mean, to be fair, I was trying last
Gordon
night
Rudis?
watching the Drumeo, and it's like, I am one of the few people in the world who realizes how big of a deal this actually is.
True. What, Jay? I think I talked over you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was gonna say, like, with what Jordan plays, if he was dealing with something like arthritis, that's I basically had to stop bowling because I have tendonitis in my right hand.
And the guitar stuff that he's doing now, he's like teamed up with people and has this fancy guitar that he's helped like design, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I watched that on Facebook and everything, and I'm like, first time I saw it, I was like, why are you not playing a Majesty? Like that doesn't make any sense.
right? I thought the same thing.
I'm like, betrayal.
Yep.
That is blasphemy. But then you actually see him play it, and it's this box, and I love it so much. And the thing, like what he plays for Endless Sacrifice.
God,
no,
it's
like
so good.
if he does it, what's the
It's so
actor's
good.
name that has the really bad arthritis in his hands?
That doesn't really narrow it down. There's
No, like
millions
his
of-
hand is literally stuck like this because of it.
Oh, you mean like Parkinson's?
No, he has arthritis to the point where he cannot use his hands. It's not Michael J. Fox, but
De
like, he's
Niro.
no, I'll find it. But
Joe Pesci.
no, I will find it. I will Google it. Give me a second.
Ben
Everybody
Affleck.
keep guessing.
Yeah. No, see. My whole thing is, I wonder, and Robert, let me know what you think about this, because you and I have talked a little bit about this here and there. I wonder how much, if this is going to be one album and one live album and out, I really wonder how much of this is we're talking about, like, arthritis, if the guys have medical problems, whatever. I wonder how much of this is, is it James? Like when, and I give that guy 1,000,000% credit for coming out and saying, look, I can't sing the stuff like I used to. Like no other singer is doing that. You know what I mean? Like, and he admitted. So is this like, okay, they're like, at this point in our careers, we can't change lead singers. We don't want to change lead singers. Like, what do you think? Is this a James driven thing where he's like, look, guys, I've got like 2 tours left,
I can see that.
Like
James Coburn.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh.
So I mean,
You
Robert,
ever seen
what
Snow Dogs? He's Thunder Jack in Snow Dogs. He does a lot of other stuff, but that's
Yeah, never heard of him.
Google it. Google
I have a
it.
question for you, John. After whatever you were going to ask Robert.
well,
I don't.
No, that's honestly a good point. It could be a James driven thing because, like he said, he came out saying, hey, I can't sing like I did, like, back in my 20s, which is fair. Like, I feel like, on the Dream Sonic tour, I forget the name, but, like, when he did like the, alternate, like, notes to some of the music, I'm like, I thought that fit well because, the whole controversy over Bridges in the Sky, which I was like, I can see it both ways because he is getting to a point where he can't hit some of those notes, but also I still have that little bit of faith of like, yeah, you can do it. But
yeah.
The weird thing is he did it on the easier part.
Yes, he did, which is
Yeah,
actually
that's
strange.
true.
I just think that no one gives enough credit to what happened to him with the, the whole breakfast incident in Cuba thing during the Awake tour. Like if you rupture your vocal cords, like that is, you're not going to come back from that. Like, and it's going to damage you down the road.
I was in the room with the girl that did it.
Yeah,
it's an audible noise, and that is the most horrific thing I've one of them that I've ever seen.
I mean, he flat said a squeak flew out of my throat. Like it was just a squeak, and then I couldn't even speak. Like, and I mean, when you rip that thing, it's like, it's like an athlete, because I mean, singers, like, I mean, Joe, you've done some singing. Kale, obviously you sing. Jay, I'm sure you might a little bit, and Robert, I don't know if you sing, but obviously your sister, is a beautiful vocalist. Like it's like an Olympic sport, man. It's like the musculature. If you damage that, like, yeah, you're gonna recover, but it's not gonna be as,
you never get back 100% of it.
Yeah,
right.
And they never stopped. Like he literally went back on tour. So I think that's what did it, was the fact that the band was still building, and all these years later, it's the chickens are coming home to roost, unfortunately, because his voice just physically took damage that a voice normally doesn't take. And so,
yeah,
and it sucks too, because I will defend James LaBrie till the ends of the earth, dude. He is, I've interviewed him a few times. For those of you guys who haven't seen the episode last year where we did a deep dive into his solo record, which, by the way, I still fucking love that record. Beautiful Shade of Gray.
Brilliant record.
Yeah.
The thing is, I want him to sing more like that. Moving
on.
It fits his voice so well.
It's so much of a better style for him.
Yes.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah.
Brian and I say all the time, "Hello, puppies."
Sorry, my husband got one
all the time.
Look, we are dog people on this show. Okay, don't you feel bad at all.
This is Presley Portnoy that's hiding, and he used to be named Poe BD8. My nephews named him, and
I love it.
It didn't fit him, so his name is now Dini, Poe Dini, because he can get anything like Houdini can.
Well, there we go.
But yeah, so dogs. That's what was barking. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I think I'm completely with you, Kale. Like, and all you guys, like his voice, like Brian and I have said so many times that our favorite James vocal moments, most of them are when he gets into that like breathy ballad type of a style. And it just sounds so good. Like, I mean, Joe, I don't think you and I've ever actually talked about this. Like, what were your thoughts on James's most recent solo record, the acoustic one?
Every member of this band shines when they do their solo album. When you were talking earlier about Portnoy being different, or how he plays with Petrucci on his solo stuff. The first time I saw Petrucci play his solo stuff live and Portnoy was backing him, I was shocked by how different Portnoy was. And it wasn't just let me copy what somebody else did and put no emotion into it. It's legit. No, they're in a different headspace. LaBrie's solo record was, I don't want to say within his capabilities, but it sounded like him. It sounded like somebody who had been singing for 30 plus years, coming up with a new album and working on it to make it as good as it can be without the expectations of what is Dream Theater.
That's a very good point.
Maybe that's what the problem is we're still chasing what Dream Theater is supposed to be, and everybody's getting like 96% there. And they're giving it their all. They're still working on it. They still have a goal. It's not going to be something simple. But as soon as they separate or they change their view, even with Liquid Tension Experiment, it's different. It's just different every single time.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, that without the expectations of, that come with a Dream Theater record, like he was kind of free to sing how he's like comfortable, and I like you guys had said, this basically, for him, Like his voice fit that style so well. And I know that I don't know if you guys saw this, but Paul Logue posted, I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something, that he posted a picture of a new guitar that he's like, yep, working on the new James stuff. Like, hell yeah. So
I think we need to stop chasing this James.
Yes, Kale, and you know what, Kale, that is
Or the previous one.
Yeah. Well, I think Awake is like the perfect example, because that's, he was at the height of his powers. And I mean, how much does it suck that, like, for the Awake tour, or excuse me, the Awake record, he was absolutely killing it. And he has to have this stupid damn accident just because he ate a shitty breakfast. Like, that to me will forever be just absolutely tragic. And, they weren't at the point where they could stop. They weren't at the point where they could, okay, well, James needs like 6 months to a year. Like, no, he had to go back out there, and he just had to keep going. And unfortunately, was to his detriment. Like, if it would have been a few albums later, like when the band was more established and everything, like, he could have taken that time off. Like, look, he ruptured his vocal cords. We're taking a year off, and the fan base would have totally accepted it. But at that point in time, they couldn't do it. Like, it just sucks, man.
And
Like,
then
they were still trying to push them as
using-
a major label band, like a headlining mainstream thing, and they've really never been that.
Yeah, true.
But then they ended up using his lower register to great effects with Distance Over Time here.
Yep.
And even
higher
on
vocals too on like Untethered Angel and sections of Barstool
But-
Warrior.
that's the thing, is on stuff
towards the
like
end.
the self-titled and Distance Over Time, he's using that really mixed voice and staying where he's comfortable. And I think those albums sound great.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I don't see why he feels the need to have to go out and perform them as those songs. I mean, we can sit here all day and say his current voice sounds great, and we'd be right. So why not readapt the songs and be like, hey, I can't sing them like that anymore. Here's my interpretation of them now as a 60-plus-year-old man who's had vocal issues for the last 30 years.
Well, and I think that's why I give him so much credit, Kale. Like I said a minute ago, like all these other singers that sound like ass right now, like David Coverdale and David Lee Roth and, all these different guys, that used to be like vocal gods or whatever. Like, I mean, David Lee Roth was never like a vocal god, but
I was like, David Lee
know what
Roth
I mean?
was in that category.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, it's when,
He's a vocal god in John's heart.
Well, no, he's not. Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar is a vocal god. Like, but you
All
know what I
things
mean?
Van
Like,
Halen.
like guys that
Him and his stick.
sound like a certain way, and now, you get them live, and you're like, what is this trash? And they don't give a shit.
Mhm.
They don't care. They're just like, David Lee Roth, again, I'm gonna use the example. His attitude is, well, all the fans just want DLR. I'm gonna feed them the shit sandwich, and they'll just eat it because I'm David Lee Roth. James LaBrie is the only one I can think of that came out and actually said, either Robert Plant did the same thing, and so I give him a ton of credit. He came out and said, look, I can't do what I used to be able to do. That takes so much balls and bravery to just flat out admit, like, look, dude, I'm getting a little bit older. My voice doesn't do what it does. And so instead of going out there and just feeding people a crap performance, he's doing the very best he can and admitting that he can't do what he used to do. Like, I think that is incredibly brave, and I give him all the credit in the world, man. And I am biased. I'll fully admit it, but I just,
I think we all love him.
Yeah, I would love to see him go out and do these last couple, whatever you want to say about him, with his own voice and not trying to take back what he was robbed by a shit breakfast burrito.
yeah. I mean, isn't that the thing too? Like people that have been complaining about his voice are like, oh man, he's hitting these low notes and stuff. It's like, yeah, he's doing like a low harmony, basically. But I mean, would you rather hear that, or would you rather hear him trying to do those notes and just cracking and squeaking and like where you're like, oh God, like nails on a chalkboard? Like, no.
If it means a better performance, change it.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
Like you and I had this conversation last year after I blew myself out with my month-long bit of flu. It was like, well, I can tune it down, but even then, that's only so good to a point. And you're like, well, alter the melody, make it in your own wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, that's exactly what you got to do.
And that's my question. I think the answer's no. But does Dream Theater ever adjust for how is James today? Like, do we need to take this down a pitch or
I
two?
think next tour
Pull me under
they
on
will
this
do
tour
that.
was.
Okay.
Next tour, I am confident that they will start down tuning stuff. I think,
Yeah.
so, at least.
And I think
I-
that's okay too, especially when you're playing something from the late 80s, early 90s, where everything
Perfectly
was
normal.
standard tuning, everything was as high as it can be. Bring it down a little bit, just natural aging. Like, not everybody gets to keep that voice forever.
And
Yeah,
I think
sometimes it even
that's
sounds
more
cool.
why the Seven Strings have taken so much precedence. It's a lower register for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I the only thing that the detuning does is it does take the 7th string out of it a little bit. I think because detuning a 7th string, it's like holy crap, might as well just play the 8th string. You know what I mean? Like, but
holy crap, Dream Theater's new album is a gent album.
You know what? Everyone keeps asking if like they want. Are we gonna get more heavy stuff? More heavy stuff? I don't think people would be pissed if it was really heavy, just to make it more comfortable for James. And then I honestly, maybe they will do that. Everything will be like kind of detuned and like heavy, so that when you get to the show and you hear the old stuff like a step down, let's say, it's not as jarring because you're used to listening to the new record.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a thing. So,
and then you get to keep stuff like Endless Sacrifice, As I Am, that's in the lower tuning to start with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where that's already starting to feel comfortable, keep that original.
Yes.
Like
Totally
Metallica
agree.
does with Saboteur. That hasn't been tuned down further throughout the years. That stayed in D.
Yeah. No, perfect point. All right, guys. Well, we're at 3.5 hours, so why don't we jump off of here?
I was going to ask all y'all a question before we died.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
I had one question about Awake.
Okay.
Cool.
6 o'clock. Okay. The song 6 o'clock.
On Christmas morning?
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Everyone
here's
nailed
my
it.
question. The first little lines that are spoken. Okay, that's based off a movie called The Dead. Has any of you watched it? I did, and I want to know what drugs they were on to think that was a good movie to reference. I want that hour and a half of my life back.
I have not watched it.
Mike Portnoy
like an old, like, 60s
he's
movie?
admitted he likes referencing really obscure and weird stuff.
Yeah.
samples
Yeah, but that's
and
a
whatnot.
Kev song.
But
So-
yeah. Like I watched it because I was like, I want to know what they're doing. So I
Yeah, you're
looked
right.
it up.
That is a Kev song.
We found it, and it's literally an hour and a half of a dinner party that does nothing. It has Angelica Houston in it. And the last like 10 minutes, she sobs to her husband that her childhood boyfriend died because she couldn't go outside and meet him, and he died of pneumonia. She'll love him forever, and then cries herself to sleep on the bed like a Disney princess.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
And that's it. That's how it ends. He does this weird monologue, and that's when they talk about the dead. And I don't understand. Like, has anyone else seen it? Is it just me that
I
thinks
have
that?
not.
Go watch it. It is horrible. but
God, Mary Jane.
Yes. And it actually uses that in there, like that full quote. And, Aunt Kate is quite snarky about it, but it's an awful movie, but it honestly is amazing to then be able to put it into the song.
Yeah, it works in the song.
So, like, I'm like,
Does
is
it?
it just me? I'm like,
It
is it just
does.
me that went
It
and like
does.
looked it up and went
We'll
and found it's
debate
a
this.
1985 movie? Angelica Houston is like 20.
It was already 9 years
Damn.
old by the time we
Yeah,
brought
right.
it out.
It's her dad's like last movie he did before he passed away, and that's why she's in it. She literally did it for her dad. But I'm like, did anyone else like look it up? What is this reference from? Is that just me that's the weirdo that decides to find what it's from?
I mean, you were first to the
No.
line, but I guarantee you're not the only weirdo in this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, let's say in this room of the six of us.
Yeah,
Ask me
exactly.
all about
6 of us on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I have
What's bad
shot
is the first
my
time I
late
heard that
kitty.
song was at like going into Christmas morning. I was like, please tell me
My
it's
kitty.
literally 6 o'clock somewhere.
Kale, what time is it over there?
I know, right? What are we showing us, Jay? Are those cats? Or are they
So this-
wolves?
Cat socks.
This
Are they
is
cat
my
socks?
late kitty.
Kitty socks. Oh, we love
Aw.
kitties.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
too cute. Really?
That is
So
awesome.
there was that, and then my friend got me this. It's a Pokemon card of my cat.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
that-
even
Oh,
shocking.
awesome.
I dig it.
That is,
We
dude.
love kitties.
Dude, I'm a huge pet fan, Jay, and like I'll like to your point, like I have it up on a shelf, so I can't bring it down. But my band Gatlin, shut up, Joe. We did a 20th anniversary show in 2015, and I was at the merch table, and we're
Gonna do
selling a bunch of
this.
stuff and signing autographs, whatever. And someone came through the line, and my dog Chewy had passed literally the week before, like, and he was like my best friend, like he was like the best dog friend I'll ever have.
It's so
And this person hands me a painting of Chewy. I was like, oh my God, like one of our fans had actually made a painting of my dog and handed it to me after the show. Like I was like, so it's like up in like the place of prominence up there. I was like, I couldn't even believe it. Like it was so unbelievably humbling. I was like, dude, all I did is write some tunes, like, and it's already sweet enough that you enjoy the tunes, but then you make this painting. So like you've got the Pokemon card, like it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's an amazing. That's an amazing thing to do.
You're
Yeah.
bouncing. What are you
What was
showing
it?
us?
All right.
Oh, got it. I'm just watching you do this. I'm like, stop moving.
I'm very proud of
Too blurry
Disarray.
to read.
I know, right? I'm
Telling you,
like,
John, the EP is where it's at, man.
I
There's
enjoy
Johnny
it.
James and Mike.
look at you being fancy.
Chad Stevermer. Gatlin, is that a tribute country band? No, we do get confused with that, but no. And if you're looking it up on Amazon,
Spotify actually puts your stuff together.
it does.
It does.
And somehow it got changed on Amazon Music to Gaitlin, Gaitlin, but it's actually Gatlin. So
Ugh.
yeah. So in
Somebody
any
was
case,
drunk when they uploaded that.
well,
See,
dude, it
I'm
changed out of
digging your
nowhere. It's been up
background,
there.
Kale.
It's been
Mine's
there
not as
forever,
cool.
and it just changed. So, all right,
Mine's not
guys.
as cool.
The Dream Theater home screen.
So I'm gonna close out the show here, but I'm gonna drop you guys out and stay in the green room, and I'll talk to you guys after we end the stream. But I want to talk to you guys for a second before we leave. So
Check out
real-
Lines of Conviction on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music. I cannot forget to do this again.
there you
Sean
go.
already did it earlier, but please check it out. We
Kale, what's our
appreciate
new band called? I forget.
it. Our new
Mine's-
band.
Yeah.
We're doing something now.
Kale's like, where was I? What did I sign up for?
Was
I
trying
don't
to
know how
John
this
do
is
it.
gonna
My
work.
own
What did
band.
I agree to?
He's like, wait, was I?
Yeah.
Chad, much appreciated, man, for sticking around this entire time. You are hardcore. Great to see you. Thanks very much, brother. We appreciate you. We love you. So hope you had a good
it's been
time.
a lot of fun.
All you guys, man, Joe, Kale, Jay, Chastity, Robert, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on and co-hosting. Man, what a goddamn blast. Like this is just so much fun, and I love having you guys on. So thank you guys very much. I'll put you guys in the green room. I'm gonna close up shop here, but I will talk to you guys in just a second. And then there was one. So guys, Brian had to jump. He does have family responsibilities, as he said. Before we get out of here for tonight, guys, I have to say thank you to all of our amazing co-hosts. Henning was amazing. Sean Faust, obviously Kale McLeish, Chastity Crawley, Robert Husted, JG3, Discuss Metal Joe, Joseph Wren, and all you guys in the chat, Chad Stevermer, obviously Doug McCauley, everybody, all you guys that were commenting, Allie's Restaurant and all that kind of stuff like that. Man, guys, it's been another incredible year on the show here. We hope you guys have the very best holiday whenever you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that good stuff, man. Just be safe and happy and healthy. Enjoy your friends and family. And thank you so very much for tuning in to Talking Into Infinity. Brian and I absolutely love doing the show. It's a cheesy cliche, but it's a labor of love. And it's like, it kind of is, man. It's a chance for me and Brian to hang out every 2 weeks. And we get to talk about, our favorite band. And it's awesome to do it with you guys. as we've always said, you guys in the chat keep the show rolling. So thank all of you so very much. God bless all you guys. Can't wait to see you again. Again, if you are tuned in on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash the notification bell so that you are notified every time we go live. We are going to be right back here. It'll be, let me see here. I probably should have looked this up before the show, but in any case, it will be Thursday, January 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at all these fine locations: Facebook, YouTube, CMSnetwork.com, talkingintoinfinity.com, and the CMS Network Rumble page. So, guys, for Brian, I am your host, John. Man, what an incredible year we have in store for us in 2024. Mike Portnoy is fucking back. We get a new album. We get a tour. It's going to be a blast, and we will be here every other Thursday to talk about it with you guys. So, guys, have an amazing holiday season. Please be safe, whatever you're doing, and as always, carpe diem.